Chapter 100, Sky Shuttle and Fighter Plane. Luo Feng and Luo Xia began scanning the list. Babada complained through the wristband. Tsk. I knew you Earthlings wouldn't have anything good. You're still poor. Most of this list is junk. Luo Xia smiled wryly. Stop complaining. Just tell us. What should we trade for? Babada's small hand slid through the void realm, producing the same list Hong had shown them. There aren't any treasures worth mentioning, he said, shaking his head. Forget the desolate level intelligent fighter. Pure trash. If you want a transport, a king-level intelligent fighter is more than enough. You already have the Black God suit, so don't bother exchanging for another, he added. There's nothing else good here. Get the Duntian shuttle. Guided by Babada, Luo Feng found the Duntian shuttle on the list and told Hong, Hallmaster, we'll exchange for the Duntian shuttle. Hong's expression flickered with surprise. The Duntian shuttle, huh? He smiled. All right, you've chosen well. Although it's listed at 50 stars, its true value is definitely higher. It suits you, but I only happened to obtain one. In the original agreement, the Duntian shuttle had been priced at 30 stars because Hong had favored Luo Feng when he only had 5 stars back then. Now, Luo Feng and Luo Xia had claimed all the grass and wood spirits from Fog Island and held 230 star points. Hong adjusted the listed price upward, but not too much, so it would be within their means. He suspected they might also want to use points for things like the Black God suit or secret manuals. Babada chimed in on the wristband. He's right. The Duntian shuttle is a planetary-level weapon, and among planetary-level psychic weapons, it's top tier. Even if it were priced at 100 stars, it would still be a bargain. Luo Feng and Luo Xia exchanged a look and then thanked Hong. Thank you, Hallmaster. You'll still have 180 stars left, Hong said. Do you want to exchange for anything else? Get a king-level intelligent fighter jet, Luo Feng answered. Babada was right. When it came to transportation, a king-level intelligent fighter was sufficient. Besides, if they needed speed, the brothers could just fly themselves. Their current pace exceeded that of most jets. We'll save the rest of our points. We'll trade for more treasures if and when new things appear on your list. Hong regarded them for a moment, then nodded slowly. Very well. After the fighter jet, you'll have 178 stars remaining. He smiled. Now that the grass and wood spirit matter is settled, there's your next assignment. Luo Feng and Luo Xia listened. Because the two of you have already surpassed the level of a god of war, according to the rules of the Dojo of Limits and the War God Palace, you'll be appointed patrol envoys of my Dojo of Limits and become council members of the War God Palace. Hong met their faces with quiet warmth. In 1 week, I will personally confer the patrol envoy titles. It will be announced to the whole world. If there's nothing else, you should go and prepare. Thank you, Hallmaster. Luo Feng was thrilled. A patrol envoy, an office he had revered, would now include him. Luo Xia, however, was less enthusiastic. He preferred Babada's virtual space to titles. The brothers stood, bowed to Hong, and took their leave. Once they were gone, Hong stroked his chin and murmured to himself, smiling. They didn't trade for the Black God suit or the basic Psyker Master Manual. Whatever they found on the Australian continent is more than just grass and wood spirits. He stared up at the projected starry sky and continued to mutter, Everyone keeps secrets. If these two grow strong, that benefits Earth. The universe isn't as peaceful as we like to think. Some of the legacies I found in ruins show how dangerous it can be. If one day Earth becomes a target, humans who aren't strong enough could be reduced to slaves. I don't care that they have secrets. If this secret makes them stronger, so much the better. I hope they'll become pillars, even leaders, who can protect Earth. Dojo of Limits Global Headquarters. At the entrance of the interstellar transport, Luo Xia and Luo Feng stepped out, flanked by a red-robed white man. Mr. Luo Feng, Mr. Luo Xia, he greeted them with a smile, pointing to an open area. Look over there, that intelligent fighter is yours. They turned and saw a dark blue, triangular fighter parked on the tarmac. Its fuselage flowed in graceful curves. About 20 meters long and over 10 meters wide, it looked compact and solid. This fighter will undergo a recognition process, the red-robed man said, leading them to the hatch. A hazy blue light descended, and the door slid open with a soft whoosh. You may enter, The system recognition will be handled by the intelligence system. Just remain in the cockpit." He bowed slightly and left. Luo Xia and Luo Feng climbed in. Luo Feng couldn't help laughing. "We should have bought more than one." "One is enough for transport," Luo Xia said, looking around the interior. "There aren't many chances to use a fighter like this under normal conditions." An artificial voice filled the cabin. "Hello, masters. Since this fighter jet is jointly owned, I will set both of your permissions to equal levels. Do you confirm?" "Confirm," Luo Feng replied. Babata suddenly barked through the wristband. "What kind of idiotic intelligence is this? It insults us intelligent life forms. Clear the way. I'll rework this system." Luo Xia and Luo Feng smiled at each other. "Babata," Luo Feng asked, "is the fighter system really that bad?" "It's not that it's bad," Babata said dismissively, "but you already have me. Why rely on this fool?" He paused, then added, "Besides, the current intelligence is actually registered under Hong as the primary authority, with you two as secondary. If Hong wanted, he could monitor everything inside the fighter and even recall it." "Oh, and now?" Luo Feng prompted. "Now I've modified it. Hong won't notice. You two are the primary authorities. Hong is secondary." Luo Feng froze for a moment, then relaxed. It made sense. Any seller would keep a trump card, but he preferred having full control. "There's a box here," Luo Xia said, pointing to a compartment that slid out from the cabin floor. "It should be for the Duntian shuttle." "Open it," Luo Feng said. Because the fighter and its storage were jointly owned, the security required both brothers' fingerprints. Luo Xia stepped forward and placed his finger on the scanner, then Luo Feng. Click, click. The box opened. Inside lay a single, unique weapon, resting quietly. The Duntian shuttle, Chapter 101, Returning Home in Glory. Babata laughed when she saw the Duntian shuttle and clapped her hands. "The Duntian shuttle is finally back." She glanced between Luo Feng and Luo Xia, then took the arc blade disc from her storage and held it up. "Okay, the two weapons Father left for you are the arc blade disc and this Duntian shuttle. How do you two want to divide them?" Luo Feng looked at his younger brother and smiled. "You choose first. I can use either." Luo Xia studied the arc blade disc, then the Duntian shuttle. He wasn't fussy about weapons. Both were third-tier psychic armaments of the same grade, one simpler to operate, the other more complicated. "I'll take the arc blade disc," he said. "It suits me." "All right," Luo Feng said with a grin. "Then I'll take the Duntian shuttle." Babata nodded. "Both are third-tier psychic weapons. Each comes with corresponding techniques and cultivation manuals. I've manifested their secret manuals in the castle study. You can consult them whenever you like." They both agreed. "Now let's go home," Luo Feng said. Destination, Mingyue Community, Yangzhou City, Jiangnan Base City. It had been just over 5 months since the two brothers had left, the longest time they had ever been away from home. At noon in Mingyue Community, the place was lively. After meals, many martial artist families liked to stroll around. A small group had gathered outside the Limit Hall when they noticed Luo Hongguo and Gong Xinlan waiting expectantly by the entrance. "Old Luo, who are you waiting for?" asked Grandpa Lu as he walked over. "It's Grandpa Lu," Luo Hongguo smiled. "Xinlan and I are waiting for our sons." "Your sons were sent to the dojo of Limit's global headquarters for special training, weren't they?" Grandpa Lu's memory was sharp. "Are they coming back today?" A woman who had been chatting with Gong Xinlan chimed in. "My son said Luo Feng's training shouldn't finish until New Year. Are they really back now?" Wu Tong, stepping out for a walk from the hall, noticed the little gathering and asked, curious, "What's all this?" Luo Hongguo beamed. "Xiao Feng and Luo Xia are coming back. Xinlan and I are waiting for them here." Wu Tong's expression changed. According to his understanding of the elite training camp rules, there were only 2 reasons a student would return early: expulsion or early graduation. Given what he knew of Luo Feng and Luo Xia, expulsion was impossible, so the only remaining option was that they had graduated early. They had become god of war? But he'd expected their training to last much longer. Could it really be true? Luo Hongguo's phone buzzed. He answered, smiling broadly. "Hello, you'll be here in 5 minutes? Good, good. We're waiting at the hall entrance." If they got back so soon, they must have flown to the main base city last night, Grandpa Lu guessed. "That high-speed line from the main base city to Yangzhou is fast," the chatting woman said wistfully. It reminds me of before the Great Nirvana. My parents used to travel all the time on trains back and forth across the country. Before anyone could finish the train theory, a shadow crossed the sun. A narrow, deep blue streak of light sliced through the sky and hung momentarily above Mingyu community. "What's that?" someone murmured. At that distance, it looked like a small dot in the sky, but as it descended, the shape became clearer, a triangular, deep blue fighter jet. The craft drifted lower, and the crowd began to make out details. "I saw a disc-shaped fighter in the Bay City once," the woman muttered. "This triangular one looks strange." Wu Tong's face went suddenly serious. "That's one of headquarters' jets." The triangular fighter jet touched down on the helipad beside the limit hall with a soft whoosh. Although the hall rarely used its helipad, only when personnel from headquarters visited, it was perfectly suited for the landing. The hatch opened, and two figures stepped out, backpacks slung over their shoulders, dressed in sportswear and running shoes. A murmur swept through the crowd. Many of the community's martial artists and their families had been drawn outside by the sudden arrival. As they saw the two young men descend, recognition spread. "It's Luo Feng and Luo Xia! They're back!" People who had known the brothers since they were small shouted toward the entrance. "Old Luo, your sons are here. Hurry!" Luo Hongguo and Gong Xinlan rushed forward, almost dumbfounded. Their sons had returned by fighter jet? Tears of joy filled their eyes as they reached them. Old Luo stepped up to shake Luo Feng's hand and cast a grateful glance toward the jet. "They sent you all this way," he said. "Aren't you going to invite the pilot to our house? We should thank them properly." Gong Xinlan took Luo Xia's hand. "Yes, bring the comrade home for a cup of hot tea." Wu Tong leaned close and added quietly, "Whoever could dispatch a headquarters fighter like that deserves our respect. You two shouldn't be so casual. Invite the pilot to sit and accept our thanks." Luo Feng and Luo Xia exchanged a look, half amused, half exasperated. Luo Xia spoke up, smiling. "There's no pilot to invite." "What do you mean, no pilot?" Luo Hongguo and the others were stunned. "But the jet, who flew it here?" Luo Feng shrugged. "We bought it, and we flew it back ourselves." Silence fell over the crowd. In this era, purchasing a fighter jet was far more difficult than before the Great Nirvana. Such machines were tightly controlled. The two brothers had been away only a few months, and now they had returned, flying their own deep blue triangular fighter. The realization hit everyone at once, and their astonishment was audible. Chapter 102, One Family with Two Inspectors. "Uncle Wu, Grandpa Lu, Grandma Wang, drinks are on me later," Luo Feng said with a grin as he and Luo Xia waved to the neighbors. They were home with their father, Luo Hongguo, after the holiday crowd thinned. "Where's Hua?" Luo Feng asked, looking around for his younger brother. Gong Xinlan chuckled. "The holiday's almost over. Hua went out on a date with that boy Zhen Nan today." Luo Hongguo added from the side, "I already called him to tell him to come back quickly." Luo Xia laughed. "If your second brother is on a date, why scare him off? Let him enjoy it." As if called by name, the front door opened. Luo Hua came in trailing a shy, graceful girl. "Brother, Xia, you're back," he called brightly. Luo Feng studied the girl. She kept her eyes down, clearly embarrassed. Luo Hua hurried with introductions. "Big brother, Xia, this is my girlfriend, Zhen Nan." Zhen Nan gave a small, polite nod. "Big brother, Xia, hello." "Hello," Luo Feng replied with a smile. Luo Xia laughed. "Hello, second sister-in-law." Zhen Nan's face turned beet red. Luo Hua, suddenly bashful, stammered and laughed along. Gong Xinlan seized the moment. "You boys go sit and chat. Xiao Nan, perfect timing. Auntie could use a hand in the kitchen. Come help me." "Okay, Auntie," Zhen Nan replied and followed her into the kitchen. The four men took seats in the living room. Luo Hua, puzzled, asked, "Big brother, Xia, weren't you supposed to stay for New Year? Why are you back already?" Luo Feng didn't see any reason to hide it. News of their new positions would spread soon enough. "We made a lot of progress," he said. "Xia and I have been promoted. We're patrol envoys of the Dojo of Limits. The inauguration is in a week, and we'll have to go to headquarters for it." Luo Hongguo blinked. The term meant nothing to him. But Luo Hua, younger and quick to research anything about martial ranks because his brothers were martial artists, froze. He stood as if jolted and shouted, "Patrol envoys?" Gong Xinlan and Zhen Nan looked up from the kitchen. Gong Xinlan came out wiping her hands. What's all that shouting about? Xiaohua, what's wrong? Nothing, nothing. Luo Xia waved it off with a smile. He just got surprised. Zhen Nan studied Luo Hua, trying to read his expression. When Gong Xinlan prodded, Luo Hua could hardly contain himself. Mom, big brother and little brother are patrol envoys. They're patrol envoys of the dojo of Limits. Gong Xinlan, no more versed in dojo ranks than her husband, smiled and echoed. Is that so? Well, that's wonderful. A patrol envoy must be a very important official. Zhen Nan, who had been peeling vegetables, actually dropped the root she was holding. She stared at Luo Feng and Luo Xia, stunned. She had known her boyfriend's brothers were martial artists and had even read about ranks online. Patrol envoy sounded like top-tier status, practically second only to Lord Hong. Her boyfriend's older and younger brothers were that important? Her mind reeled. Luo Hongguo and Gong Xinlan watched Luo Hua's excitement and Zhen Nan's dazed silence and exchanged a look. Could this patrol envoy be some exceptionally high post? The family buzzed with a mix of pride and incredulity. Meanwhile, in the heart of Jiangnan-based city's main urban district, a different kind of tension filled a meeting room at the Dojo of Limits headquarters. In a tastefully restrained conference room, Inspector Liu sat at the head of the table. Around him were President Zhou Zhengyong and the three major directors, Zhuge Tao, Yu Sen, and Wang Keifan. Zhou cleared his throat. Inspector Liu, is there something urgent? You don't call this many of us together unless it matters. Inspector Liu folded his hands. Headquarters sent an order today, he said. We've been summoned to the main headquarters in a week for the inauguration of the new patrol envoys. Yu Sen's eyebrows shot up. All of us? I thought only inspectors and regional presidents needed to attend the patrol envoy ceremony. Wang Keifan frowned. Why include the three of us directors? Zhuge Tao, thoughtful, added. If they're asking everyone, there must be a specific reason. Zhao's face went pale. You mean the new patrol envoys are from our Jiangnan-based city and we've had dealings with them? Everyone turned to Inspector Liu. If any region was likely to produce patrol envoys recently, Jiangnan-based city would top the list. And among people there, Inspector Liu himself was the obvious candidate. His strength lay close to surpassing a god of war. But Inspector Liu shook his head with a rueful smile. It's not me. Then who? Zhuge Tao demanded. Inspector Liu barely hid his own surprise. Two young men, Luo Feng and Luo Xia. Luo Feng and Luo Xia! Zhuge Tao and Zhao both nearly fell out of their chairs. Yu Sen and Wang Keifan blinked and then looked at Zhou and Zhuge for confirmation. Do you know them? Yu Sen asked. Zhou and Zhuge exchanged incredulous glances. Those two kids? Zhou said. Are you sure there wasn't a mistake? Inspector Liu tapped the table and projected the official dispatch from headquarters. A three-dimensional information diagram hovered above it, displaying the names, ranks, and appointment details. It's really them, Zhuge Tao whispered, jaw slack. Zhou scrolled through the dossier with shaking hands. A few months ago, when I sent them to the elite training camp, one was only an advanced warrior and the other an intermediate war general. How could they possibly be patrol envoys now? To be a patrol envoy of the dojo, one must be at council member level, Yu Sen said, voice tight. Council member level strength is above a god of war. Wang Keifan slapped the table in disbelief. Those are national level figures, people the country pays attention to. You're telling me both of them reached council member level strength in a few months? They all remembered the two teenagers who had gone to the elite training camp. Who could have predicted such a leap? The idea that an ordinary person could ascend from war general to something surpassing god of war in months was almost unthinkable. Zhao swallowed. How old are they now? One is 19, Yu Sen said, mind racing, and the other is only 17. 19 and 17, council members. The room fell into stunned silence as each man tried to reconcile the dossier in front of them with everything they thought they knew about cultivation and limits. It was as if the rules themselves had been bent overnight, and the Dojo of Limits had just discovered two new anomalies, right from Jiangnan-based city. Chapter 103, Transformation of Identity. Inspector Liu, seated at the head of the table, wore the most complicated expression in the room. As an advanced war god, he'd been stuck at that level for years with no sign of a breakthrough. Now 2 young men, younger than his own children, had casually reached the realm he'd only ever dreamed of. It was almost unbearable. The gap between people felt crushing. He tapped the table twice to steady himself. "All right, settle down." At his words, the others slowly recovered from their shock and resumed their seats. Zhou Zhengyong and the others looked up at him, waiting. Liu met the eyes of Zhou Zhengyong and Zhu Tao. "Since you two know the newly appointed counselors, Luo Feng and Luo Xia, even better," he said. "We should pay them a visit and try to establish good relations. It looks like these two may be stationed permanently at our Jiangnan base city." As patrol envoys, Luo Feng and Luo Xia now outranked the local officials. They had wide authority to inspect limit hall operations worldwide and could stay wherever they pleased. Inspector Liu knew it would be wise to get on their good side. Patrol envoys wielded power far beyond that of an inspector or a chairman. If displeased, Luo Feng and Luo Xia could dismiss Zhou Zhengyong and the others without even notifying Lord Hong. Zhou Zhengyong and Zhu Tao exchanged glances and nodded. "Inspector Liu is right," Zhu Tao said. "I've met both of them. They're young, but their temperaments are good." "Get ready," Liu said. "We'll go to Luo Feng and Luo Xia's homes and pay our respects." "I'll call Wu Tong in Yangzhou," Zhou Zhengyong offered. "Ask if the counselors are home and whether it's convenient for us to visit." "Good idea," Inspector Liu said. "Call first and find out." They all fell silent for a moment, mindful now of the brothers' new status. The old habit of teasing them as "those kids" felt inappropriate. Zhou dialed, and Wu Tong's respectful voice answered almost immediately. "Chairman, what can I do for you?" "Have Counselor Luo Feng and Counselor Luo Xia returned home?" Zhou asked. There was a long pause on the line. "Chairman, you mean Luo Feng and Luo Xia?" Wu Tong asked slowly, as if checking he had heard correctly. Then his voice tightened. "Wait, Counselor Luo Feng, Counselor Luo Xia?" The title "Counselor" wasn't one to be used lightly. To be called that, someone had to have gone beyond the war god level and been accepted into the war god palace. Wu Tong's astonishment was obvious. "Are you sure you mean the 2 brothers who went to the elite training camp?" he asked. "Yes, exactly those 2, Zhao replied. "Is there anyone else with those names in your community?" "No, no one." Wu Tong's voice trembled slightly. Are you saying they're counselors?" Zhao waited. Wu Tong seemed to need a moment to process it. "Hello, are you still there, Wu Tong?" "Yes, Chairman, I'm here." Wu Tong composed himself. "Counselor Luo Feng and Counselor Luo Xia just returned today. They came back on a headquarters fighter jet. I heard Counselor Luo Xia said the jet was purchased by the brothers together." The officials around the table exchanged stunned looks. A headquarters fighter jet? How could 2 recently promoted young men afford such a thing? Wang Keifan muttered the question aloud, but Zhou Zhengyong shot him a hard look and focused back on Wu Tong. "We plan to visit them today," Zhao said. "Could you ask if they're available and whether it would be convenient for us to drop by?" "Of course, Chairman Zhou," Wu Tong replied. "I'll go up to their home right away and ask. I'll call you back." "Thank you. That will be all for now." Zhou ended the call and turned to the others, his expression grave. "From now on, you need to remember, Luo Feng and Luo Xia are patrol envoys. They're the highest authorities in Jiangnan base city after Lord Hong. So watch what you say. Don't joke about how they afford things. If you offend them, a single word could cost you your position." Wang Keifan laughed nervously. "Chairman, I just haven't adjusted yet. Who would have thought they'd suddenly be counselor level? A few months ago, they were still warlords." Zhou cut him off with a warning shake of his head. "Be careful. Old Tao says their personalities are good, but there's always a generation gap between us and young people. Just be careful." "Understood," Wang Keifan said quickly. Meanwhile, at the Mingyu community, the family home had been buzzing with excitement. A patrol envoy is the highest official in the Hall of Limits besides Lord Hong, Luo Hua explained breathlessly to their bewildered parents, Luo Hongguo and Gong Xinlan. The couple weren't dull. After all, they had raised the 3 capable Luo brothers, but they still struggled to take in the news. "You 2 have come so far," Luo Hongguo said, his voice thick with pride. He clapped both Luo Feng and Luo Xia on the shoulder, feeling a father's swelling honor. Gong Xinlan's eyes shone with emotion. "Xiao Feng, you and your brothers are so high-ranking now. There's something your mother would like to ask you for. Tell me, Mom, Luo Feng said quickly. Gong Xinlan sighed. When your father and I were young, we went through the Great Nirvana period. During that chaos, our family was separated and we became orphans. I just want to know if any of our relatives survived, to find out how they're doing. Luo Feng's expression went solemn. Father, Mother, don't worry. I'll look into our relatives from back then. With the authority they now had, tracking down old family members would not be difficult. A single command would set subordinates in motion. A guest has arrived, the smart housekeeper announced. Who is it? Luo Xia asked. The chief instructor of Limit Hall, Wu Tong, the housekeeper replied. Uncle Wu? Luo Xia raised an eyebrow. Luo Hongguo's face brightened. Old Wu is here. Quickly, let him in. Wu Tong had been a great help to the brothers in the past. Hearing his name at the door, the family moved without hesitation to greet him. Chapter 104, Author's Note on Listing. The book will go live tomorrow. Updates will continue as usual at 12 p.m. I ask for everyone's support with the first subscription. First, I want to thank my editor, Great Master Luo Xia. Without you, this book wouldn't have come this far. Next, thank you to all the readers and book friends. I wouldn't be here without you either. I'm not good with words, but after the listing, I will work hard to keep updating and to repay your support. I hope all my readers and book friends will continue to follow the story. Yunsong is deeply grateful. Finally, special thanks to the following readers for their generous donations. Is this free to read? 15,000 UAB. Sci-BE, 1,066 UAB. BQ 10317, 1,000 Chidian coins. Tan Harangi, 688 UAB. Book Friend, 1607171037151889, 500 Chidian coins. Lei Jiang, 300 Yulianji, 200 UAB. Book Friend, 2000 Tartudo11 Tel 1835 14836, 100 Chidian coins. Yuchinchi, 100 UAB. Yang Chao BE UAB. Book Friend, 20 and 2304493633, 100 UAB. Book Friend, 21132510323898, 100 Chidian coins. Book Friend, 29020303 213535432, 100 Chidian coins. Thank you all for your support. Chapter 105, Suppressed by the Universe? Please wait, I have an order. Wu Tong stood at the gate of the Luo family home, a look of bewildered agitation on his face. How did they become counselors? He muttered to himself. He still couldn't make sense of it. Just months ago, Luo Feng and Luo Xia had been warrior generals, and now they were counselor-level figures. The news spun in his head. Old Wu, you're here. Luo Hongguo greeted him with a laugh as he opened the gate. Come on in. Brother Luo, Wu Tong began, then his eyes flicked over to Luo Feng and Luo Xia. Confusion and something like awe warred across his face. Uncle Wu, please come in, Luo Feng said politely. Wu Tong didn't dare act his usual self in front of them. If Chairman Zhou's announcement was correct, their positions now far outranked his. All right. He followed Luo Hongguo into the living room and sat down awkwardly on the sofa. Old Wu, have some tea, Luo Hongguo urged. Zhennan went to pour, and when she returned, Gong Xinlan took the cups and set one in front of Wu Tong with a warm smile. But Wu Tong felt like he was sitting on pins. He had visited the Luo home many times before and had always been relaxed. Today, he was stiff with unease. Uncle Wu, is there something you need? Luo Feng asked. Wu Tong glanced at Luo Feng and then at Luo Xia standing nearby. He swallowed. He swallowed hard. I heard Chairman Zhao say you and Luo Xia are now patrol envoys? Counselors? Luo Feng and Luo Xia exchanged a look, slightly surprised. Has news from headquarters already reached here? Luo Xia asked. Wu Tong's eyes widened, and he rose without thinking. This can't be. Old Wu, why are you standing? Luo Hongguo chided, pulling him back onto the sofa. Even if these two kids have become patrol envoys, they're still your nephews. It took a few breaths for Wu Tong to calm his buzzing head. He forced a strained smile. I'm just shocked. A few months ago, Counselor Luo Feng and Counselor Luo Xia were still warrior generals. You can just call us by our names, Luo Feng said lightly. No need for counselor and all that. You're family. Wu Tong drew a deep breath and nodded. All right, I'll be presumptuous then. Did you come just to confirm that? Luo Xia asked. No, Wu Tong shook his head. Chairman Zhou and the others are preparing to visit. They asked me to see if this afternoon would be a convenient time. Luo Feng considered it a moment. We'll be free. Tell them to come this afternoon. We can meet at Limit Hall. Good. I'll go back and inform them now. Wu Tong stood, buoyed by relief. Next time we'll stay for dinner. Old Wu, why are you in such a hurry? Dinner will be ready soon, Luo Hongguo called after him. Next time, Wu Tong repeated, smiling and bowing slightly to Luo Xia and Luo Feng. Counselor Luo Feng, Counselor Luo Xia, I'll take my leave. After Wu Tong left, Luo Xia turned to his brother. You go see Chairman Zhou and the others. I won't go. Luo Feng nodded. All right. Luo Xia smiled. It's good to have a brother. Then he looked at their mother and Jen Nan. Mom, second sister-in-law, is dinner ready? Brother and I came home starving. Gong Xinlan chuckled. Xiao Nan and I will get it ready now. Won't be long. After dinner, Luo Xia retreated to the family training room, while Luo Feng went to Limit Hall to meet Inspector Liu and the others. The training room was quiet. Dressed in loose practice clothes, Luo Xia sat cross-legged on the mat and thought over the plot of the original story. In that timeline, after Luo Feng became a patrol envoy, he later went to the number 9 alien ruin and ended up trapped there for over a year. It was only after Big Brother came out of the ruin that the golden horned beast's egg fell to Earth. I just can't remember the exact place the egg fell, Luo Xia muttered. It's odd. With every increase in my strength, I should be able to access more and clearer memories from my past life. Yet the memories about devouring the stars, and especially the golden horned beast, are getting hazier. What was happening? Luo Xia frowned. The harder he tried to recall where the golden horned beast's egg had landed, the more the details slipped away. He could only make out a vague impression. The egg had fallen into some sea area. In the book, even Babata, who monitors the whole globe, couldn't detect the fall. That suggested some power had hidden the event from even the most comprehensive surveillance. Was the universe itself preventing him from remembering? Was some will targeting him specifically? Luo Xia felt conflicted. He wanted to prevent the Golden Horn Beast crisis, to stop those deaths in advance. Even if he did nothing, Big Brother Luo Feng would eventually handle it, but at the cost of many lives. If he could intercept the egg the moment it fell, or take control of the juvenile form early on, things would be so much simpler. But without the drop location, that was difficult. No, he decided. Even if I don't know the exact sea area, I must find it before it matures. If the pattern held true, the Golden Horned Beast's egg would fall around a year later, and then take nearly another year to develop into a terrifying force. If he could locate the egg or a juvenile form before it developed, they'd have a real chance to neutralize the threat. He reached for Babata. The little spirit had stayed behind in the house while Luo Feng went to meet Zhou Zhengyong and the others. Babata looked up with a puzzled tilt. Why do you want to monitor all the sea areas on Earth? You know the sea is full of monsters, Luo Xia said. If we can keep an eye on the oceans, humanity's base cities will be safer. Besides, I can't pinpoint the Golden Horned Beast's fall, so I want to monitor everything. Babata stroked her smooth chin, thinking, I can help, but I'll need some materials. She swept her hand and a virtual list appeared in front of Luo Xia. He skimmed the items. Is this everything? He asked. Babata nodded. And you'll have to go to the number 9 alien ruin. Why? Luo Xia asked. The number 9 ruin was a distant outpost of Yunmo planet. Babata already had many resources. What more could it have? I need the main computer there, she said. Its processing power is the only thing strong enough to support global ocean monitoring. I'm about to start assembling the Universe-class ship and don't have spare computing power to lend you. Luo Xia understood. I'll go to the number 9 ruin after the inauguration ceremony. Good, Babata said. Gather the materials on this list as quickly as you can. All right, Luo Xia nodded. Now let's continue with the soul imprint lessons. It's time for you to give me the second volume, right? Chapter 106, 10,000 Sword Soul Seals. Please order first. Come with me into the virtual space, Babata said. Luo Xia nodded and closed his eyes. In a momentary daze, Babata pulled his consciousness into the virtual space he had created. They were inside the blood-red castle. Babata reached to a shelf, took down a book, and tossed it to Luo Xia. This is the second volume of the Soul Imprint. Read it yourself. Luo Xia caught it eagerly and sat cross-legged to read. The first volume had been the theory and foundation. The second volume contained practice and cultivation methods. It listed different soul imprints, 10,000 Swords Soul Imprint, Fear Soul Imprint, and others. The Fear Soul Imprint condensed a mark that could shatter an enemy's will, leaving the body temporarily rigid. The 10,000 Swords Soul Imprint condensed mental power into blades that could slice at an opponent's soul and mind. According to the second volume, once someone mastered one of the listed soul imprints, they could then learn the Soul Imprint of Servitude, the same imprint Hu Yanbo used to control slaves, a terrifyingly powerful technique. The 10,000 Swords Soul Imprint fits me better, Luo Xia murmured, extending a finger. Babata glanced at him with mild curiosity, and then his expression changed. At the fingertip, mental power began to gather, coalescing into a small sword-shaped imprint. First layer of the 10,000 Swords Soul Imprint. Achieved! Babata's eyes went wide. That was done. Just like that? How long had it taken? Barely 5 minutes. Luo Xia didn't notice Babata's shock. He was absorbed in the second volume, learning and assimilating every line. This 10,000 Swords imprint might be able to fuse with illusions to create a new kind of mental attack, he whispered to himself. An idea bloomed in his mind for developing the imprint further, but he only had the first layer, and to create new techniques he'd need to climb higher. So he plunged into cultivation, refining the 10,000 Swords Soul imprint. Meanwhile, Luo Feng had already arrived at the Limit Hall to meet with Inspector Liu and the others. In a reception room, Inspector Liu Tianyu, stood with Chairman Zhou Zhengyong to greet him. Patrol Envoy Luo, hello. I'm Liu Tianyu, Inspector of Jiangnan Bay City, Inspector Liu said, introducing himself. Because both had kept a low profile before, this was their first meeting. Inspector Liu, happy to meet you. Luo Feng returned the greeting. Seeing the others rise to welcome him, he waved them down. Please, don't be so formal. Sit. Once everyone was seated, Luo Feng offered thanks. Strictly speaking, you're all my seniors. Manager Zhu Gei and Chairman Zhou have helped my brother and me in the past. We're very grateful. Zhou smiled. Noticing Luo Feng was alone, he asked, where's the younger patrol envoy? He's cultivating, Luo Feng answered with a wry smile. He's busy, so I came by myself. How diligent, Inspector Liu said admiringly. Both talent and hard work. No wonder you two reached assemblyman rank so young. The others echoed his praise. Luo Feng kept a pleasant expression, and after a little more small talk, he moved on to the matter at hand. Inspector Liu, Chairman Zhou, now that my brother and I are patrol envoys of the Limit Hall, we'll naturally shoulder our responsibilities, he said. But for affairs in Jiangnan Bay City, we prefer to leave the day-to-day work as it has been. We're young. We don't intend to meddle in the administration. Whatever you and your teams have been managing, please continue. Inspector Liu and Chairman Zhou were visibly relieved. They had been worried the new patrol envoys might abuse their authority or disrupt things. Luo Feng's straightforwardness calmed them. Of course, Luo Feng continued in a firmer tone. If either of us learns something improper is happening, we'll report to higher command. Don't worry, Patrol Envoy Luo, Zhou said. If anyone steps out of line, you won't even have to get involved. I will deal with it myself. Luo Feng smiled. It's not that serious. My brother and I are easy to talk to, though we do have quick tempers sometimes. We're young, so please be patient with us. With that, the visit's purpose was achieved. Before they dispersed, Luo Feng added, there's one more thing I'd like to ask your help with. Inspector Liu and Chairman Zhao exchanged curious looks. Go ahead, Patrol Envoy Luo, Inspector Liu urged. They were eager to do anything for the new envoys. My parents were separated from their relatives during the Great Nirvana, Luo Feng said slowly. I'd like your help finding those relatives, if that's possible. Inspector Liu's face tightened. That could be difficult. Zhou explained, during the Great Nirvana, many cities were overrun, communications were cut, and a lot of records were destroyed. The Limit Hall can't recover that information on its own. It's something the government would have to handle. Can we ask the government to help? Luo Feng asked. Of course, Zhou answered with a smile. Now that both of you are assemblyman-level powerhouses, the government will take this seriously. I'll speak to the relevant department head, There should be results soon. They'll contact you directly. Thank you, Chairman Zhou, Luo Feng said. You're welcome. It's an honor to assist. By the time Luo Feng got home, it was already evening. He found only his father Luo Hongguo and his mother Gong Xinlan in the living room. Where are Ahua and Luo Xia? He asked. Luo Xia's in the cultivation room, his father replied. Ahua took Xiaonan home, Gong Xinlan added. Go call Luo Xia. When Ahua gets back, we'll start dinner, his mother said. Luo Feng nodded and headed for the cultivation room. There he found Luo Xia sitting cross-legged and murmuring. Is Luo Xia in the virtual space? Luo Xia opened his eyes and smiled. Big brother, you're back. How did your meeting with Inspector Liu and the others go? They came by to check our attitude. Nothing more. Luo Feng shrugged and then briefly recounted the conversation. Ahua won't be back for a while. Let's use the time to go to the War God Palace, Luo Feng suggested. Lei brightened. He remembered they'd been given 2 virtual consciousness helmets when they left the training camp. Didn't Babata say he could take us straight into the War God Palace? He asked, looking to the side. Babata, who had appeared beside them, snapped his fingers and snorted. Piece of cake. Want to go now? Yes, both brothers nodded. Then let's go. Babata snapped his fingers again. Luo Feng and Luo Xia closed their eyes and let their consciousness blur away as they were drawn into the virtual space of the War God Palace. Chapter 107. War God Palace. Please order first. The room was vast and hushed, a private space that seemed to stretch on forever. Luo Xia appeared in a white robe as if stepping into a dream. Skk. Since this is a virtual space, land isn't an issue. Make it as big as you want, he muttered, looking around. The suite easily exceeded 1,000 square meters, and it had everything. A bed, a small indoor pool, a writing desk and chair, a lavish dining table, and even a cultivation corner with a yoga mat. Welcome, Counselor Luo Xia, an electronic voice announced from the void. Luo Xia blinked and fell silent, listening to the disembodied voice. This is your private chamber within the War God Palace. No one may enter but you. No wonder I don't see Big Brother or Babata, he said, raising an eyebrow. The voice continued, within the War God Palace you may order any food or drink. There are delicacies here that do not exist in the real world. Luo Xia nodded. Sensory perks turned up to maximum, as expected from a virtual space. On your desk, there is a copy of the War God Palace regulations. Consult it at your leisure. Finally, I wish you an enjoyable stay in the War God Palace. The electronic voice fell silent. Luo Xia walked to the desk and opened the regulations. It was less a book and more a one-page manual outlining the palace's rules and organization. The War God Palace had a council. All counselors were beings who had surpassed the War God rank. Above the counselors sat a chairman, one of the 5 strongest individuals on Earth. Historically, Hong had been the first chairman and Thunder God the second. Below the counselors were ordinary members, the War Gods. Finished reading, Luo Xia left his chamber and strolled down a long corridor to a vast plaza. 9 arenas dotted the square. Beyond the plaza, an endless ocean met the sky in a layer of drifting clouds. How interesting, Luo Xia murmured. Is this layout meant to warn every martial artist above the War God rank that the greatest threat now lies in the sea? A voice called from behind. Xia! Luo Feng turned around. Big brother, where's Babata? He asked, looking around but seeing no sign of her. Luo Feng shrugged. She said she was going to check the palace's central depths. Then she vanished. Hope she doesn't stir up any trouble, Luo Xia said. Luo Feng laughed. Babata has some sense. Still, she's been sealed away over 50,000 years. 50,000 years, Luo Xia echoed with a wry chuckle. Our recorded history barely reaches 5,000 or 6,000 years, and she slept deep in the earth for 10 times that. Hey there, a tall Caucasian man approached, graceful and confident. I'm Vlarati, Luo Xia, Luo Feng. The brothers nodded in response. Your Chinese is very good, Luo Feng commented. Thank you. Vlarati smiled. You both look young. I don't recall seeing you in the War God Palace before. This your first time? Luo Xia grinned. Why do you assume that? Vlarati's eyes twinkled. I may not boast about everything, but I know 99% of the war gods on Earth. Introductions are rarely necessary for me here. Luo Xia nodded, and Luo Feng confirmed, yes, it is our first visit. Vlarati brightened. Excellent. New blood at the War God Palace. And both of you look exceptionally young. Would you two like a tour of the palace's sights? The brothers exchanged looks. We'd appreciate that, Mr. Vlarati, Luo Xia said. Vlarati winked. Please follow me. You'll be pleasantly surprised. They followed him to the entrance of the first-floor hall. It was larger than a school playground, filled with sofas and chairs. Many war gods, people they'd never meet in the real world, were lounging, drinking, and talking loudly. The place buzzed with energy. So many war gods, Luo Feng said, clearly taken aback. Vlarati chuckled. War gods are scattered across the world. They seldom meet one another, so this palace is where they come to drink and socialize. Luo Feng noticed a huge display showing the number 3515 and asked, "What's that number for?" Vlarati smiled mysteriously. "Take one step forward, and you'll see." Skeptical, Luo Feng stepped through the doorway. The moment he crossed, the hall dimmed and the music cut out. Every war god's head turned to the entrance. Then a crisp, ceremonial sound rang out. Under a burst of triumphant music, a spotlight picked out Luo Feng. The War God Palace welcomes a new counselor. His name is Luo Feng. Gasps filled the hall. In the sudden hush, a three-dimensional projection hovered above them, displaying Luo Feng's profile. Name, Luo Feng. Nationality, China rank, counselor. The number of martial artists above the War God rank has increased by 1, 3516, the announcement echoed. For a beat, the assembled war gods stared in disbelief, then applause and shouts broke loose. Vlarati's jaw dropped. I thought you were a newly promoted war god, Mr. Luo Feng, but a counselor? I didn't expect this. Luo Feng smiled, still surprised. I didn't see it coming either. Vlarati explained, laughing. Every war god's first visit triggers the palace's introduction and welcome. I've been here long enough, and this is the first time I've seen a newcomer introduced as a counselor. You really surprised me. He turned to Luo Xia. And you, Mr. Luo Xia, surely you're not also a counselor? Luo Xia stepped into the hall with a relaxed smile. The same fanfare played out. Luo Xia's projection appeared above them, and the hall fell silent once more. The crowd froze. 2 new counselors at once? Confusion and astonishment rippled across every face. What on earth was happening? Chapter 108, Xuxin and Babata. Please order first. When Luo Feng and Luo Xia stepped into the ground floor hall, many of the war gods were already talking in low voices. Oh, it's Luo Feng and Luo Xia. Aren't they the second and first place from the elite training camp? I thought they'd just returned from the Australian continent. How are they already counselor level now? Maybe something happened over there. They must have had a great opportunity. Both under 20 and already counselors, that's terrifying. Their future is endless. Soft music played as whispers circulated, but the 2 brothers paid it little mind. Just as they were about to find seats, someone nearby stood up and called to them. Luo Feng, Luo Xia, over here. They turned and saw their teachers from the elite training camp. Teacher Yang Hui, Teacher Vit, they greeted with smiles. Don't call us teachers, Yang Hui waved them off as they sat. We hardly taught you. Look at you, already graduated from the elite training camp. Vit, a Caucasian instructor, beamed. Seeing you 2 here shocked us. We expected you just returned from Australia. We didn't imagine you'd already graduated and become counselor-level powerhouses. The elite training camp had resumed regular classes, and the teachers were spending a break at the War God Palace. Meeting the 2 brothers here was a pleasant surprise. Teacher Jiang Fang knows about your graduation, right? Yang Hui asked. Luo Xia nodded. We visited him before we left. Yang Hui shook his head in wonder. I really didn't expect this. A few months ago, you were still warrior generals. In less than a year, you've outpaced us all. Congratulations. Thank you, the brothers replied. They drank and talked until late. When it was time to leave, Luo Feng and Luo Xia bade farewell to the teachers and stepped out of the War God Palace, where Babata appeared. Mom, we're coming down right now, Babata shouted in response to his mother's call. Then, turning to them, Luo Xia asked, Babata, did you find anything in the War God Palace? Found nothing, Babata said with a shrug and a mischievous smile. But it was impressive. You Earthlings sure know how to use electricity to run that main computer. Seeing that Babata hadn't caused trouble, Luo Feng relaxed. Come on, let's eat. Ahua's already back. Luo Xia nodded, kept his answers short, and followed Luo Feng downstairs to join the family meal. Back in the girls' dormitory at Jiangnan University, Xu had just returned from home and was cleaning the room that hadn't been tidied all summer. "Woohoo! I'm back," she called. No sooner had she started than another voice sounded at the door. "Oh, Xu, you're back," Liu Tingting said as she dropped her luggage into the corner. Xu smiled. "Tingting, why are you late?" "My boyfriend dropped me off," Liu Tingting replied, beaming as she spread out a fresh quilt on her bed. Then she perked up with curiosity. "How's that guy from high school? You said he called sometimes." Xu flushed slightly and brushed a stray hair behind her ear. "It's going well. He calls whenever he can. You said he and his brother went to some training camp, right? How are they doing?" Before Xu could answer, Liu Tingting added, "Yanshui told me that training camp is amazing. Graduates from it are all big shots. I'm so jealous that you dated a martial artist type." Xu chuckled, remembering the recent phone call with Luo Feng. "They've already graduated." "Graduated?" Liu Tingting's eyes widened. "They went in March, didn't they? It's only September, less than 5 months?" Xu nodded. At that moment her phone buzzed. Her brother was calling. "I need to take this," she said. "Okay," Liu Tingting said, trying not to eavesdrop but unable to help hearing as Xu answered. "Hello? Brother? Sister? Good news. Great news." Xu excitement crackled over the line so loudly that even Liu Tingting heard most of it. Xu frowned, curious. "What is it?" "Sister, do you know? Luo Feng has become a counselor." "See, counselor," Xu repeated, stunned. "And his brother, Luo Xia too." Xu kept shouting, "2 counselors in 1 family." The little dorm seemed to tilt for a second. Liu Tingting covered her mouth, eyes big. The news spread across Jiangnan University by the next day. Xu boyfriend was a counselor-level powerhouse. People began looking at her with newfound respect. So when Luo Feng came to pick Xu up for a date, he noticed how strangers watched them with something like awe. "What's with those looks?" he asked. Xu smiled and leaned into his arm. "Nothing. Let's go watch a movie. They're showing one of the old Ultraman Tiga films from before the Great Nirvana." "Huh?" Luo Feng looked at her in mock exasperation. "You watch that?" Xu rolled her eyes playfully. "Why can't girls like those movies?" "You can, of course," he said, laughing. Nearby, Luo Xia and Babada leaned on the railing, watching the couple walk off together, close and content. Luo Xia smirked and made a face. "Tsk, it's so sugary in the air, full of love." "If you're jealous, get yourself someone too," Babada teased. Luo Xia propped his head on his hand and strolled toward the snack street. "Who said I'm jealous? I'm just hungry. Let's go eat." Babada stomped his feet midair, annoyed. "Luo Xia, this is revenge. Revenge." "Revenge? How is that revenge?" "Because you've been bullying me since I became an intelligent life form with no carrier. I can't eat." Luo Xia laughed. "Hey, you saw right through me. How embarrassing." "If it's embarrassing, then put the candied hawthorn you're eating out and apologize." Sorry. It's really good. Tastes like childhood," Luo Xia said with a grin. "Ah, you're making me so mad." Babada huffed. Amid Babada's indignant protests, Luo Xia felt relaxed. Back home, as he continued studying Soul Imprint, a sudden flash of insight struck him. A new direction, a new understanding. A week flew by. Today was the inauguration ceremony for Counselor Luo Xia and Counselor Luo Feng. "Xiao Feng, can we watch your and Xiao Xia's inauguration on this channel?" A voice asked over the family comm. "Yes, this is the right channel." "Dad, Mom, second brother, my elder brother and I are leaving now." "All right, be careful." After a quick farewell, Luo Xia and Luo Feng boarded a fighter jet and headed for the Global Dojo of Limit's headquarters. The ceremony started at 2 o'clock. They had time to arrive and wait. The headquarters' main conference hall was full. At 2 p.m., the Patrol Envoy inauguration began. "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Global Dojo of Limit's Patrol Envoy inauguration ceremony. Today's attendees include..." The host's voice boomed across the hall, and every time a name was announced, the broadcast cameras cut to the person being introduced. "Lord Hong, head of the Global Dojo of Limits. The Thunder God of Lei Dian Martial Hall. Third Counselor Mohan Disan of the War God Palace." The list went on. "This is the first time I can remember so many counselors," Luo Feng whispered to his brother. On Luo Xia's other side sat their teacher, Zhang Fang. She smiled faintly when she heard him. "The Patrol Envoy ceremony is a big deal," she said softly. and both of you are being inaugurated together. Lord Hong and the Thunder God will be here. Most counselors come, unless they're urgently needed elsewhere. Luo Feng nodded. With Zhang Feng sitting with them, it was clear her status as their teacher had earned her a place beside the new counselors. The stage lights brightened. Finally, we would like to introduce Counselor Luo Feng and Counselor Luo Xia, who will be taking up the position of Patrol Envoy of the Global Dojo of Limits, the host announced. A 3D projection of Luo Feng and Luo Xia shimmered on the stage. Then the host continued. We'd like to invite instructor Jiang Nian from the Dojo of Limits in Yan District, Yangzhou City. He was their earliest instructor. To Luo Feng and Luo Xia's surprise, a slightly nervous older instructor leapt up from the back and hurried to the stage. Instructor Jiang Nian is here too? Luo Feng asked. Jiang Feng chuckled. Everyone connected to you will be invited up. This ceremony recounts your glorious deeds from start to finish. Luo Xia smacked his forehead and muttered, feels a lot like a public execution. As the ceremony went on, Jiang Nian described the brothers' early training. Both Luo Feng and Luo Xia sat stiffly, smiling awkwardly as each anecdote aired. The worldwide livestream let viewers see the path that had brought them here. The triumphs, the hardships. When the broadcast mentioned that Luo Xia had been the top scorer on China's college entrance exam the year he took it, parenting groups across the globe gushed and groaned in equal measure. Later, teacher Zhang Feng stepped onto the stage in a formal dress that suited her perfectly. Her presence and graceful poise drew a murmur from the crowd. Teacher Zhang is stunning, Luo Xia whispered, and Luo Feng agreed. When the ceremony reached its climax, the host said, distinguished guests, the most important moment has arrived. Please welcome counselors Luo Feng and Luo Xia. To music and applause, the two brothers rose and walked onto the stage under the gaze of everyone in the hall and the millions watching the live stream. The host bowed to them and announced, we now invite our #1 person in the world, Lord Hong of the Dojo of Limits, to personally confer the patrol envoy appointment upon Mr. Luo Feng and Mr. Luo Xia. Lord Hong, dressed in black, came forward and stood before them. Luo Feng and Luo Xia bowed. Lord Hong smiled, then paused and glanced at Luo Xia. You had another breakthrough this past week? A small one, Luo Xia admitted. He hadn't been idle. Combined with the Muya crystal's aid, his cultivation had been surging. You only recently reached planetary level 1, and now you're already at planetary level 2. That speed, surprising, even to me. Lord Hong's tone was amused. Luo Xia and Luo Feng exchanged glances and made innocent faces. Planetary level what? They asked in mock confusion. Lord Hong didn't explain. Instead, he snapped his fingers and produced the Limit Patrol Order, the symbol of a patrol envoy's authority. He presented one to Luo Feng, then to Luo Xia. Under the cameras and the audience's eyes, they were officially made patrol envoys of the Dojo of Limits. In doing so, they also became the youngest counselor-level powerhouses on Earth, prompting waves of envy and admiration among viewers. After the applause died down, the brothers followed Lord Hong back to his reception room inside the interstellar transport ship that housed the global headquarters. Lord Hong, I'd like to apply to enter the 9th ancient civilization ruins, Luo Xia said on the way. Lord Hong raised an eyebrow. The 9th ruins? Are you after the Black God suit? The Black God suit was well known in combat circles, an artifact powerful enough to elevate many warriors an entire level. Lord Hong assumed Luo Xia must have learned how to obtain it from another god of war, hence the request. Luo Feng added, I remember it was on your last list. After getting the suit, one still has to enter the 9th ruins once, doesn't one? That's right, Lord Hong replied. The only place on Earth where the Black God suit can be obtained is the 9th ancient civilization ruins, and a person can only claim it once. Even if you acquire a Black God suit through me, you'll still need to enter the ruins and retrieve another set to replace it later. He considered them for a moment and nodded. All right, I approve. You two will go with the next batch entering the ruins. The departure date is September 29th. Thank you, Lord Hong, Luo Feng said. Outside the headquarters, Luo Feng asked Luo Xia the obvious question. Why the 9th ruins now? Didn't Babada say it was just an outpost on Yunmo planet? And didn't Babada already give us a Black God suit? Luo Xia blinked. Big brother, didn't I tell you? At that moment, Babada materialized, folding his arms. Counselor Luo Xia wants to monitor the entire ocean area of Earth, the AI said, but all my computing power will be used assembling the universe spaceship. I can't handle the monitoring and the construction at the same time. So I suggested he go to the 9th ruins and retrieve the main computer located there. Luo Feng stared a moment, then nodded as it clicked. Oh, that makes sense. If we go once and recover the main computer, the black god suit we have will be fully usable. Good plan. Luo Xia turned to Babada. All those materials you told me about, I've already ordered them from Lord Hong. They should arrive soon. As soon as the materials get here, I'll begin, Babada replied. Once you bring the main computer out of the 9th ruins, I'll be able to monitor Earth's entire ocean region. More at 6 p.m. After the inauguration ceremony, Luo Xia returned to Cultivation. The items he had bought from the dojo of Limits Mall arrived quickly. Once Babada received the materials, he slipped into the virtual space to begin work. Luo Xia and Luo Feng left him to it and continued studying in the virtual space's study. Days slipped by, and soon it was September 29th. Luo Feng and Luo Xia set off for the global headquarters to meet the other gods of war. Counselor Luo Feng, Counselor Luo Xia. They were greeted aboard the interstellar transport by people in blue and red robes. A blue-robed young woman led them to a lounge where 6 others were already seated. From their appearances, one pair was Chinese, another with closed eyes looked Indian, 2 were black, and the last was a white person with curly blonde hair. Counselor Luo Feng, Counselor Luo Xia. The group stood and bowed as the brothers entered. One of the men stepped forward to introduce himself. Counselor Luo Feng, Counselor Luo Xia, I'm Tuo Bayan from Kyoto-based city. Luo Feng and Luo Xia nodded and chatted briefly with Tuo Bayan. A moment later, a red-robed man at the lounge door called, "Everyone, please follow me." They were ushered into Lord Hong's reception room. The group bowed slightly. Hong's gaze swept over them, and he said coolly, "The 9th ancient civilization ruins is relatively low on the danger scale compared to other civilization ruins, but its casualty rate is high. If any of you want to back out, do so now. Once you enter the ruins, it will be too late to change your mind." No one stepped back. Hong nodded. "Very well," he called. "Yao Rao, come in." A blurred figure appeared by the door. Dressed in a black long robe that suggested a lethal curve beneath, she wore a golden mask that hid most of her face. Only her eyes and mouth were visible. Her eyes were bright and subtly shimmering, almost hypnotic. Luo Xia studied her and, unable to help himself, muttered, "This is Yao Rao? Even prettier than the anime model." Yao Rao was one of Hong's 3 personal guards, planetary level strong and wielding status above that of a typical patrol envoy. Hong informed them, "You'll be leading the team into the 9th ancient civilization ruins." "Yes, Lord," she replied. Her voice was clear and bright, a feline purr that set the teeth on edge in a strangely pleasing way. "All right, you may go." Hong waved them away. Yao Rao escorted Luo Xia and the others to a Changkun-class intelligent warplane. Once aboard, she glanced at the group and said coolly, "You can just call me young Miss Counselor." She explained the mission. The 9th ancient civilization ruins is deep in the Amazon rainforest of South America. It's one of the less dangerous ruins. Tuo Bayan asked, "Young Miss Counselor, does that mean there are other ancient civilization ruins on Earth?" "Of course," Yao Rao continued. "For example, the first ancient civilization ruins. It's the earliest discovered on Earth, located within the Bermuda Triangle in the North Atlantic." Luo Xia's brow lifted. He remembered hearing about another ruin associated with the insect race somewhere around Shenangjia, an extremely frightening place that now seemed dormant. He made a mental note, then heard Yao Rao add, "The first ruins is extremely dangerous. Currently, no one on Earth can enter it. No matter how powerful the expert or how advanced the weapon, stepping through its entrance destroys them instantly." From his wrist, Babada spoke up. "She's right. The first ruins is lethal. Even reaching universe rank might not be enough to enter." Universe rank. Luo Feng's voice carried surprise. "Even universe rank fighters would fall?" Luo Xia frowned. "These ruins on Earth are hidden dangers. If one of them erupts, it could threaten the entire planet." "We must grow stronger," Luo Feng agreed. Yao Rao cut the discussion short. "Enough digression. Back to the 9th ruins." She fixed them with a look. "Listen carefully. I'll say this once. The ninth ancient civilization ruins is designed for selection, elimination, and trials. When you enter, you'll generally follow the Type A passage into the depths. Babata added, it appears the ruins' intelligent mainframe is still operational. That outpost was used to screen and test disciples who met Yunmo planet's criteria. Yao Rao then issued commands to the warplane. I'm installing translation software on your communication watches. Password, Ninth Ruins. A red beam shot from the plane and landed on their watches. The translation software has been installed, she said. It will translate the language and text inside the Ninth Ruins into Chinese and English. When you leave, the software must be deleted. I will supervise that. They landed at a clearing that had clearly been prepared by the Dojo of Limits. Around it, the jungle rose thick and humid. The barren ground suddenly vibrated. The earth split open and revealed an underground passage about 5 meters wide. A silver-gray elevator rose up, opened, and a red-robed old man stepped out. He bowed slightly at the sight of Yao Rao. Counselor Yao Rao. Yao Rao nodded and addressed the assembled team. Hurry in. Once you enter the ancient civilization ruins, your experiences will differ. I hope you all come out alive. She gave a particular look to Luo Feng and Luo Xia, then sashayed back to the warplane and took off. The old man turned to them. Everyone, move quickly. The ninth ancient civilization ruins opens in 2 hours. Without hesitation, they followed him into the elevator and descended into the unknown depths beneath the earth. Chapter 111, Ruin Number 9. Soon the elevator halted. Luo Xia and the others followed the red-robed elder out and passed through 9 more checkpoints before finally arriving in a spacious chamber. Researchers from all over Earth were gathered there, hunched over consoles and monitors. The moment the newcomers arrived, heads turned and faces lit up. Whew! Welcome! This dull underground finally has some excitement. When you all get back, we should throw an underground champagne party. Seeing their enthusiasm, the red-robed elder explained, these people have been underground too long. Outsiders are a rare sight, so they're excited. Now, everyone, are you ready? He repeated the question in Chinese and then in English. Everyone nodded. Good. Open the entrance passage. With a series of clicks, the curved alloy wall at the front of the hall split open, revealing a circular corridor. The interior was a strange dark brown, like a tunnel formed from knotted dried tree roots. Luo Xia frowned and sent a thought to Babata, the wristband AI. Babata, are you sure this is a Yunmo planet outpost? This doesn't look right. The outpost they'd seen beneath Mist Island had a distinctly sci-fi aesthetic. This twisted, root-like passage felt almost like ancient god carvings. Babata rolled a virtual eye inside the band. This isn't the real entrance. Keep walking. See that glowing spot up ahead? That's the doorway. The red-robed elder instructed them to follow the passage and step into the glowing mirror. It isn't really a mirror, he added. It's the entrance to the legacy site. Luo Xia looked at the shimmering patch and shrugged. Ah, never mind then. Luo Feng smiled and stepped in first, with Luo Xia and then Tuobayan and the other gods of war following. The moment they crossed the light, the world tilted as if spinning. When Luo Xia steadied himself, he realized he and his brother were alone in a black hall. Babata slipped out of the wristband. She always did that when their surroundings required a fuller presence. A hazy, multicolored light cascaded down from above, and a sharp, rhythmic alarm started up, an insistent, repeating sound that filled the hall. Luo Feng glanced at Babata. What's that? Babata folded her arms and shook her head, then looked at Luo Xia. Can you read it, Luo Xia? Luo Xia hummed, thinking, it's alert in the common language of the universe. Babata scoffed and jabbed Luo Feng playfully. Humph. See, Luo Xia can read the common language, and you still can't. When you get back, you'll be adding an extra hour a day to your common language study. Luo Feng gave a rueful grin. That cuts into my call time with Shuxin. I'll schedule the extra hour after your call with Shuxin, Babata said, feigning magnanimity. At that instant, thick crystal ropes, each the width of a finger, dropped from the ceiling, aiming to bind Luo Feng and Luo Xia. The brothers instinctively dodged, but Babata waved a hand and the ropes froze and then slowly withdrew. I've already contacted the outpost's central intelligence, she said. We'll go directly to number 9. Number 9? The brothers echoed. Babata pointed ahead. The alloy wall opened and she flew into the passage. Each outpost's intelligence used to have a long code name, she explained as they followed. Master's outposts had names so long they were a headache, so I just renamed them by the legacy site number. Oh, Luo Xia and Luo Feng said together. So there's another intelligent system here, like you? Luo Feng asked. Number 9 isn't exactly a sentient life form, Babata replied as she led them deeper, but it's far more advanced than any program Earth has. 18 enough to help you monitor the whole of Earth's oceans. They reached a hall suffused with hazy, colorful light. As they entered, the glow condensed and formed a bald figure made of crystal. It looked at Babata with trembling excitement. Lord Babata, it exclaimed. I never thought I'd see you again. How? May I ask about Master? Babata's expression dimmed. Number 9, Master perished with Yunmo planet. The crystal man fell silent, grief touching its features. Luo Xia caught the emotion and leaned toward his brother. It shows feelings, but it still isn't considered a true sentient life form. Luo Feng nodded, watching the crystal man and Babata. After a moment, the crystal figure turned to them with respectful curiosity. Lord Babata, are these the 2 Yunmo planet disciples you found on Earth? Babata's mood brightened. She tilted her head. Yes, Luo Feng and Luo Xia are the legacies I located for Master. They are Master's last 2 disciples. I see. The crystal man regarded them with something like reverence. Lord Babata, you brought these 2 here. Do you require anything of me? Luo Xia stepped forward. I want to monitor all of Earth's oceans. I'll need your help. I understand. The crystal man's tone was steady. Refusal wasn't an option. After Master Huyambo's death, authority over this outpost had passed to Babata, or more precisely, to the heirs of Huyanbo's legacy, Luo Feng and Luo Xia. The crystal man would obey. The plan was straightforward. The outpost's central system main computer was the most valuable asset. If they could extract it, the crystal man could leave the legacy site with them. To avoid complications, they would wait until the current batch of martial artists who had entered the site had departed before removing the main computer. They remained in the legacy site for almost another month. During that time, Babata's virtual space became their classroom and training ground. Luo Xia completed his mastery of the 10,000 Swords soul imprint. He didn't rush into the soul imprint of servitude. Instead, inspired by recent insights, he began developing specific techniques, moves for the 10,000 Swords imprint, experimenting with how to make it lethal and efficient in battle. Chapter 112, Illusory Sword, Starfall Rain. Inside Babata's virtual space, the battle arena crackled with tension. Luo Xia and Luo Feng faced off, their physical stats set identical by the simulation. The 2 of them circled, eyes locked, when a faint sword imprint flickered onto Luo Xia's fingertip. Big brother, watch out! Luo Xia called. He sent the imprint spinning into the air. It erupted in brilliant light and with a sound like metal singing, darted toward Luo Feng. The light washed over him, and for an instant he was disoriented. The arena dissolved. Luo Feng found himself standing on a lake as smooth as a mirror. Across from him rose the shimmering form of the 1,000 tree flowers. Luo Xia stood atop it, small against the strange architecture. Above them, the sky looked like a sheet of night. Pinpricks of starlight glimmered against the dark. Luo Feng's breath caught. Those weren't stars. Each point of light was a tiny sword imprint, cold and bright, hanging in the heavens like distant comets. Luo Xia's voice rose in a chant. The east wind released 1,000 tree flowers in the night, blowing them down, stars like rain. A cold wind swept the illusion. The sword imprints broke free at once and fell like a meteor shower, whistling through the air. Luo Feng watched them grow larger, with terrifying speed, streaking toward him. He tried to move, tried to dodge, but his body felt rooted, as if held by invisible bindings. Boom! Boom! The sword imprint struck the reflective surface around him, detonating in brilliant flashes. The mirrored world shattered. For a heartbeat, everything collapsed into shards of light. When the light cleared, Luo Feng was back in the virtual arena, blinking beside Luo Xia. They had returned to the simulation's mundane tiled floor. Luo Xia smiled. Luo Feng's voice trembled with a mix of awe and fear. Xia, what was that? It's a new technique I developed, Luo Xia said calmly. I combined the 10,000 Swords soul imprint with illusion techniques. Luo Feng pictured the falling swords, his body still humming from the residual panic. That's terrifying. Once you fall into that kind of illusion, you can't even dodge. If your mental power had been closer to mine, you could have broken out, Luo Xia replied. Luo Feng shook his head, forcing a wry smile. Who on earth has mental power like yours? Babata hovered at the edge of the arena, arms folded, watching them with something like fondness. There are differences even among geniuses, she said. Luo Xia is a miracle, once in 50,000 years. His comprehension and talent rank at the very top of the universe. Luo Feng's smile faltered. Thanks, that actually makes me feel worse, he muttered. Babata spread her hands in consolation. Don't be discouraged. Compared to the rest of humanity, your talent is already excellent. But Xia, he's on another level. She glanced at the entrance. All right, everyone else who went into the relic has already left. We should too. Exiting the relic was simple. The main computer at the base could be slipped into Babata's storage space without anyone noticing. To avoid drawing attention after they emerged, Luo Feng and Luo Xia put on the black god suits Babata had given them. They had placed the suits in storage before entering, so producing them now looked ordinary. Counselor Luo Feng, Counselor Luo Xia, the base personnel called as the brothers stepped out. The other gods of war who had returned earlier clustered near the entrance, eager to greet them. The base commander, the red-robed elder, contacted headquarters and asked Yao Rao to pick them up. A sleek Qiangkun-class fighter jet soon banked above the base. When the masked pilot stepped down to meet them, she smiled and said, "Congratulations on returning in one piece." Aside from that polite greeting, she remained quiet during the flight. She could tell they had just left the relic and were likely exhausted. Back at headquarters, Lord Hong summoned them. "Please sit," he said when Luo Xia and Luo Feng entered the reception room. They took seats across from him. Hong studied them for a moment and asked, "Did you encounter anything unusual inside the relic?" Both brothers shook their heads. "No, nothing out of the ordinary." Hong nodded as if filing the answer away. He leaned forward. "My inventory has been updated. You two still have 178 star points left. Would you like to exchange them for anything?" Luo Feng and Luo Xia exchanged a look. "What items are available?" Luo Feng asked. Hong waved his hand and projected a three-dimensional list of treasures into the air. Various categories hovered and rotated, each displaying rare artifacts and devices. Babata suddenly pinged on Luo Feng's wrist guard. "There's something good in the Ancient Civilization Instruments category," she said through the link. Luo Feng focused on that category. At the top of the list was an item that made his heart skip. Ancient Civilization Gravity Chamber, 1/1000th Earth Gravity. Price, 100 star points. "Babata, you want me to buy that?" Luo Feng asked mentally. "Absolutely," Babata replied. "The gravity chamber will boost your cultivation speed massively. With it and the Muya crystal, you could train 5 or 6 times faster than you do now. Lord Hong put that item here specifically for you. He's being generous." Luo Feng didn't hesitate. Turning to Hong, he said aloud, "We'll take the gravity chamber." Hong smiled as if he'd anticipated their choice. "Good. I'll arrange delivery to your residence. It should arrive in a few days." "Thank you, Lord," the brothers said. They spent the rest of their visit discussing cultivation techniques with Hong. The tone was different now. Luo Xia's strength had risen to the point where he could hold meaningful discussions with Hong. He had not only closed the gap in raw power, but had developed his own domain and unique techniques. The exchange felt less like teacher and pupil and more like peers sharing discoveries. After they left, Hong couldn't hide his surprise. He picked up the comm and called Thunder God, smiling. "Xia has caught up to me." Thunder God laughed incredulously. "Are you kidding, Lord Hong? He just reached planetary level 2. You're planetary level 6. How could he catch up?" Hong's smile didn't fade. "Not in rank, no, but his techniques are unusual, and he's a psyker master. If I fought him without using my domain, I might lose." Thunder God clicked his tongue, suddenly thoughtful. "Kids these days are terrifying. I can't afford to grow complacent. By the way, Lord Hong, I'll come by later to talk about that realm you mentioned, the unity of heaven and man. I think I've found a clue." "Good," Hong said. "Come whenever you're ready. I'll be at headquarters." Hong stood at the porthole, hands clasped behind his back, watching the stars. He felt pleased and a little proud. Luo Feng, Luo Xia, keep growing strong, he murmured to himself, hope in his voice. Chapter 113, First Level Beast Tide. Dad, Mom, we're back. When they returned, only Luo Hongguo and Gong Xinlan were at home. Luo Hua was still at school. The new semester had just started. Seeing her sons, Gong Xinlan's face lit up with relief, but a trace of reproach lingered. Xiao Feng, Xiaoxia, where have you been? You disappeared for over a month without a word. They weren't out for fun, Luo Hongguo shot back, glaring at his wife. They had important business. I'm just worried, Gong Xinlan said softly. Their conversation was cut off by Luo Feng's phone. He glanced at the screen. Chairman Zhou Zhengyong. It's Chairman Zhou, he told his parents, then answered. Hello, Chairman Zhou. What's the matter? On the line, Zhou's voice sounded urgent. Inspector Luo, the Huangpu River frontline base is under attack. The reports say it's a level 1 beast tide. The state is requesting our assistance. Luo Feng and Luo Xia exchanged looks. The memory of a level 3 beast tide still haunted them. But level 1, if the reports were accurate, meant a far greater calamity. No wonder the country had requested reinforcements. We understand. We'll head there immediately, Luo Feng said. He hung up and turned to his parents. Dad, Mom, the front line needs me and Xiaoxia. We have to go now. Go, be careful, Luo Hongguo said, voice tight. Tears welled in Gong Xinlan's eyes. Luo Xia stepped forward, brushed them away, and forced a bright smile. Don't worry, Big Brother and I will come back safe. Gong Xinlan nodded, then watched as the brothers didn't linger. They hurried out and climbed into their fighter jet. Babada, set course for the Huangpu River frontline base, Luo Feng ordered. The AI responded instantly. Understood. While the jet climbed, both brothers donned their black god suits. As patrol envoys, they had been re-equipped with SS-grade throwing knives and weapons. Babada's armory was the most cutting-edge available. Apart from the Duntian shuttle, however, many of those weapons weren't meant for public display. The jet reached the base, and Babada announced, incoming communication request from the base. Connect it, Luo Feng replied. A deep voice came through. Are you Counselor Luo Feng and Counselor Luo Xia? It's us, Luo Feng answered. Hello, I'm Li Dawei, commander of the Huangpu River frontline base. Thank you both for coming to assist. Commander Li, we're doing our duty, Luo Feng said solemnly. Li Dawei's tone was brief and heavy with gratitude. I'll leave it to you. The call ended. Luo Xia's face hardened. Babada, open the hatch. The hatch whooshed open. Luo Feng stepped onto his Duntian shuttle. Luo Xia mounted the Silver Moon longsword. They leaped from the jet and hovered above the battle. Below, monsters surged out of the river like a living tide. The base, a fortress of steel and concrete, was plastered with laser fire, bombs, and machine gun rounds, but the monsters kept pouring forward. Cannons boomed. The concussion shook the air. The horde showed no sign of stopping. Arthropods, reptiles, coelenterates, echinoderms, an impossible assortment of creatures crashed against the human defenses, battering the base as if it were a boat in a storm, ready to capsize. Go, Luo Feng barked. The black god suit helmet sealed his head. He kicked the Duntian shuttle and shot toward the massive monsters like an arrow. Luo Xia inhaled, locked his suit in, and became a black-purple streak that dove even faster. Boom! He slammed into a cluster below. With his 16-fold force technique amplifying the impact, the descent detonated like a bomb. Thousands of creatures tossed into the air as limbs shattered and gore sprayed like fireworks. Luo Xia became a blade of shadow and purple light, cutting through ranks. Beast soldiers, beast generals, lord-level beasts, any that were pierced by that black-purple line exploded instantly. Among the corpses and the geysers of blood, he moved like a god of death, each strike leaving ruin in its wake. Luo Feng was no less relentless. The Duntian shuttle fractured into 18 razor blades, 18 scythes that harvested life with terrifying efficiency. He sliced through the horde with cold precision. So powerful, someone shouted from the base. Is this a counselor's strength? Incredible, killing lord-level beasts like slicing melons. Inside the compound, soldiers cheered in astonishment. Even Li Dawei's stern face relaxed for a heartbeat. With Luo Feng and Luo Xia taking down the lord-level monsters, the greatest immediate threat was diminishing. Then, an alarm shrieked. The base lurched under a violent tremor. Commander, Massive creatures are ramming the foundation underwater, a voice reported urgently. Li Dawei's expression hardened. Deploy solidified incendiary bombs in a 1,000-meter radius centered on the base, now! He barked into another channel. Connect me to Counselor Luo Feng and Counselor Luo Xia. Counselor Luo Feng, Counselor Luo Xia, Li Dawei's voice came through. Large monsters are attacking and ramming the base's underwater foundation. Please enter the water and help take them out. Luo Xia's reply was calm. We don't both need to go. Big brother, you keep clearing the Lord-level beasts above. I'll handle the ones in the water. Be careful, Luo Feng answered. Under Li Dawei's watchful sensors, Luo Xia streaked down like a bolt and plunged into the river, the water swallowing the black-purple lightning as he dove to meet the submerged threat. Chapter 114, Killback. Luo Xia plunged into the Huangpu River. The water was turbid, but it didn't blur his vision. Within a 100-meter radius, he could see hundreds of different aquatic monsters converging on the base. He clicked his tongue once, and the arc blade disc and 38 SS-grade flying daggers launched soundlessly from his hands. Whoosh, whoosh! Even with the resistance of water under Luo Xia's mental power, the disc and daggers retained terrifying speed. The 50-meter radius centered on him became a death zone. Any beast that dared enter it was shredded by spinning steel. He dove and killed without pause. One after another, the creatures fell, lifeless bodies drifting up to the surface. Above, fighters screamed across the sky, scattering new-type solidified incendiary bombs like falling petals. Around the warbase, a 1,000-meter zone was engulfed in flame. Most sea beasts didn't fear being burned, but this fire robbed them of water and the oxygen on which they depended. As those essentials vanished, many unwilling attackers retreated into the river. At the bottom of the river, not far from the base's foundations, Luo Xia spotted 3 enormous monsters battering the structure. The smallest was over 60 meters long, the largest nearly 90. Huge, sharp horns jutted from their heads. Think of Laboon, the island whale, smashing again and again at stone. Under their impacts, the whole base shuddered. Luo Xia narrowed his eyes. He recognized them immediately. 2 shock mountain whales and 1 roaring sky beast. Monsters mounting an organized attack like this had to be acting under the command of something king-level, or even emperor-level, behind the scenes. The roaring sky beast has a sonic attack, he thought. Kill it first. His mental power boiled. The arc blade disc sped like lightning, spinning into a bolt aimed straight for the roaring sky beast's head. The disc cut clean through, bursting the creature open and sending a gush of dark blood into the river. Before the other 2 could react, the disc plunged through their skulls as well. The shock mountain whale's massive bodies sank slowly to the bottom. Done. Luo Xia allowed himself a short, cold smile. Lord-level monsters were no longer a match for him. He didn't linger over the corpses. Tightening his grip on the arc blade disc, he surged forward, cutting down any remaining beasts in the water. On land, Luo Feng guarded the base, cutting down those that tried to crawl ashore. Between the 2 brothers, nothing breached the defenses. By 8 in the morning, the tide of monsters had finally ebbed. Luo Feng stood panting, exhausted in body and spirit. Commander Li Dawei hurried out to meet him with heartfelt gratitude. Counselor Luo Feng, thank you, and Counselor Luo Xia. Because of you, the monsters didn't break into the base. You saved most of the soldiers' lives. Luo Feng forced a weary smile. Commander Li, there's no need to be so formal. We did what brothers should do. Li Dawei nodded, then asked, By the way, where is Counselor Luo Xia? Luo Feng followed his gaze out over the river, spotted the surface strewn with corpses, and hesitated. Xiao Xia, he's still fighting in the water, I think. At that moment, a voice crackled through Luo Feng's comwatch. Big brother, I'm going to kill my way back. Don't worry about me. I'll be back soon. Both Li Dawei and Luo Feng were taken aback. Kill his way back? Luo Feng blurted into the watch, about to call him back, but the line had already gone dead. Below the surface, Luo Xia, clad in black-purple battle armor, was a figure painted in blood and fury. Since he'd come to support the base the night before, he'd lost count of how many beasts he'd slaughtered. He'd kept the long sword in his hand and the disc and daggers obeying his mind, reaping life after life. When the attackers had begun to retreat that morning, his anger flared. Did they really think they could come and go as they pleased? No, not while he was here. He would kill his way back. He'd phoned his brother quickly, then thrust himself onto the arc blade disc and chased the retreating monsters down the Huangpu River toward the open sea. After last night's slaughter, most of the Lord-level creatures had been wiped out by the brothers. These remaining beasts were no match for Luo Xia. After awakening his ability, his speed had become phenomenal. Even in water, he could accelerate to close on them instantly. He pursued and killed tirelessly. The lower reaches of the Huangpu were painted with the blood and bodies of his quarry. But as he burst into the sea, a new horror loomed ahead. A gargantuan sea beast, half a kilometer long, 500 to 600 meters, with two massive heads gliding through the deep. Two-headed venomous dragon snake, he said under his breath. This was a two-headed sea serpent mutated into a king-level monster, nearly at emperor level. King-tier beasts had human-level intelligence at least, and sometimes exceeded it. The dragon snake turned toward him. Its 4 vertical pupils were cold with malice. Hiss, and the 2 jaws lunged, trying to envelop Luo Xia from both sides. "So you were the ones behind this tide," Luo Xia said. The gray domain suddenly unfurled around him, draining color from the world until only he remained vivid. He stared at the creature, then sent the arc blade disc roaring between its 2 heads like a meat grinder, splitting the massive body in 2. The disc continued to the tail before returning under his command, tearing the 2 heads to shreds. When the heads became nothing more than minced flesh, Luo Xia retracted the gray domain. He dove among the carcasses and found a purple gallbladder the size of a basketball embedded in the serpent's belly. "A powerful tonic," he murmured, then tucked it into his storage space. He broke the surface and looked out over the vast ocean. The thought of the monitoring devices Babata had made occurred to him. Now that the immediate threat was over, it was a good time to deploy them. "Hey, big brother, you free?" he called. Luo Feng was already back at the fighter jet and was about to search for him. "I'm free, Xia. How are you holding up?" "Fine." Luo Xia's lips twitched into a brief smile. "If you're free, I want Babata on the line." Babata's voice came through. "What's up?" "I'm going to place the monitoring devices," Luo Xia said. "Which sea areas should I put them in?" "I sent you the coordinates," Babata replied. A projection of the sea map popped up on his commwatch. "Drop them into the marked areas." "Won't the sea beasts destroy them?" Luo Xia asked. "They won't," Babata said. "I used a special tech. Sea creatures will instinctively avoid those devices. You just need to position them where I marked." "All right, I'll go put them in now." Luo Xia glanced toward the base. "You and Big Brother can head back first. I'll be there soon." Luo Feng sounded helpless over the line. "I'll wait at the Alliance Mall in the main city. If I go home alone, Mom and Dad will skin me." Luo Xia laughed briefly and hung up. The ocean flashed around him, the tide finally receding. He set his path for the first marked area and strode toward it on the disc, every step measured and sure. One more mission to seal the night's victory. Chapter 115, Fierce Battle with the Beast King. White Shark, Luo Xia rode his arc blade disc over the open ocean. Beneath a bright blue sky, the sea stretched dark and endless, and every so often sea beasts would break the surface with earth-shaking roars. Suddenly, the water ahead erupted. A column of seawater shot into the air, and a gigantic manta ray monster spread its sky-darkening wings and lunged at him. It was a king-level sea beast, angry that a human had invaded its territory and intent on tearing him apart. Luo Xia snorted, formed a sword finger, and traced a soul imprint as he murmured a verse. "The east wind sets 1,000 trees blooming at night and blows down more, stars like rain." A sword-shaped imprint appeared, blazing with light, and in the same instant, the manta's consciousness was snared by Luo Xia's illusion. On an imagined, silent lake surface, a magnificent spectacle of 1,000 tree flowers burst into bloom. Luo Xia stood atop the treetops like an immortal. Fall. Under a cold wind, countless sword imprints cascaded like meteorites from above, striking the hundreds of meters wide manta. Boom! Each imprint carried the power to pierce soul, and the manta's own soul consciousness, though intelligent, was no match. Its mind was shredded by the onslaught, its consciousness shattered and dissipated on the silent surface. In reality, the creature that had charged him turned into a corpse and plunged into the sea, sending waves dozens of meters high. This was the effect of the soul imprint move Luo Xia had developed from the 10,000 swords technique. It could instantly collapse and annihilate an enemy's consciousness if the gap in soul power was vast enough. Against an equal opponent, it would at best severely wound the soul, not outright destroy it. Afterward, Luo Xia flew onto a sea region Babata had marked. He pulled a monitoring device from storage and tossed it into the water. As it sank, it emitted a faint consciousness wave that made nearby monsters subconsciously ignore it. He checked his sea chart and pressed on to the next sector. Along the way, sea beasts tried to ambush him constantly. Since the Great Nirvana, humans had rarely entered the ocean, and the seas had become overrun with monsters. Most attackers were Lord level, a few King level, and none could match him now. Luo Xia used them as sparring partners, honing his skills. He didn't even rely on the heavy powers of his domain in most fights. He practiced basic techniques and raw strength. The ocean's resistance and pressure made each technique harder to execute, forcing him to draw more power and thus tempering his abilities. Countless corpses drifted on the waves, beast soldiers, beast generals, lords, and even kings, evidence of his passage. He was injured several times, sometimes nearly killed, but each close call pushed his combat experience and instincts further. Day after day, he dove deeper, seeking out trouble and testing his limits. Word spread through the sea. After Lord Hong and the Thunder God, another terrifying human figure had emerged, one no weaker, perhaps even more arrogant than the previous two. Monsters seethed with fury and pursued him relentlessly. But with his Godspeed domain and divine windleg, escape was always an option. He could run if he could not win. Luo Xia's realm rank remained the same. He was still consolidating his foundation, mental power at planetary level stage 4, gene energy at planetary level 2, but his application of skills had grown immeasurably. He had mastered the 9 basic moves of the control chapter. He could condense mental power into direct physical forms that killed a Lord-level monster by piercing its brain with a mental power needle. In martial skill, he'd learned to use a 16-fold power burst for speed and defense. Domain plus divine windleg plus 16-fold burst produced movement that looked like instant teleportation, and the kinetic energy amplified by the burst made even ordinary strikes devastating. Luo Xia estimated that a full power blow now could likely fell an unprepared astral rank expert. Babata had marked 16 sea regions for him. After several days, he'd planted monitoring devices in 13. Only 3 remained. Back on the mainland, Luo Feng waited at the capital for Luo Xia's return. After 2 days doting on Xuxin, he had to go back home with Babata. Their parents fretted when they learned Luo Xia hadn't come back yet. Fortunately, Luo Xia sent messages during spare moments to confirm he was alive. Babata told them that with Luo Xia's domain, escape was easy. None of the sea monsters could kill him. Meanwhile, Babata had been modifying an ancient gravity chamber they'd gotten from Lord Hong. What once produced 1 to 1,000 times Earth's gravity could now generate up to 90,000 times. She told Luo Feng he would need to cultivate in it daily. Start at 100 times gravity, she advised. Harden your internal organs, heart, liver, lungs, so that when your mental power breaks through to planetary level, it will be stronger. Luo Feng nodded and began his training. In the deep ocean, however, Luo Xia faced an unprecedented crisis. 3,000 to 4,000 meters down, in an oppressive pitch-black realm of water where pressure could crush a man, vast shapes loomed. At the center of that dark world was a beast emperor-level white shark, the black-eyed unicorn dragon shark, an island-sized leviathan nearly 1,000 meters long, its body tipped by a crimson horn and its eyes 2 bottomless black holes. When it shifted, the surrounding water trembled with terrifying ripples. Opposite it, barely the size of an ant, floated a single human, Luo Xia, calm, unflinching, his golden eyes locked on those black pits. Behind the beast came dozens of king-level monsters and over 100 lords, with countless generals and soldiers fanning out behind them. They had been gathered to hunt Luo Xia, enraged by his recent slaughter across the seas. At the slightest signal, the black-eyed white shark let out an eerie sound that carried far through the dark ocean. The supporting monsters answered with a chorus of roars and sound-wave attacks aimed straight at him. Luo Xia was ready. The black god suit clung to him, and in that armored shell, He darted forward like a wraith through the black water, ignoring the sound waves that streaked past. The suit blunted 90% of the sonic assault. The remainder was only a minor nuisance. Then the white shark reared and struck with a tail that moved like a mountain, thousands of tons of force. King and Lord-level monsters rushed in to seal every escape route. Domain. Luo Xia's voice was steady. A gray field expanded from him, and time seemed to slow within its bounds. The shark's attacks crawled in his perception as if 10, 20 times slower. Divine Wind Leg ignited, and he unleashed 16-fold speed. The seawater around him detonated with a roar. As he moved, the arc blade disc whirled into a meteor sword, its blades slicing the water into vacuums. He streaked forward, a thin afterimage trailing like a noodle. The arc blade disc drove through the white shark's belly, and Luo Xia followed it into the wound. Inside, the disc frenziedly shredded organs and blood clouded around him. Luo Xia extended his mental power outward, his golden eyes streaking with light. Chaos unformed, one sword, World Genesis. He poured the kinetic energy of his high-speed charge into the longsword in his hand, then unleashed his 16-fold power burst to focus every last ounce, like a dam bursting. Forbidden, resonant power surged. A dark, primordial chaos opened, and at its center a pinprick of light flared, then exploded, splitting the darkness. In that blinding rupture, Luo Xia burst out through the beast's skull. The gray domain collapsed. He flicked the longsword, the blade crisscrossed with fractures. Under the ocean's pressure, the sword shattered into cold motes of light that whirled around him. An SS-rank longsword can't withstand the full force of my outburst, he muttered. The island-sized white shark convulsed. Its black eyes rolled as the seam that had formed in its body widened. Before the other beasts could comprehend what had happened, the Leviathan split down the middle, two massive halves peeling apart as if the ocean itself had been cut. Flesh and blood billowed through the water like a bloody fog. The sudden, inexplicable killing froze every monster present. Their fear sent them into retreat. Were they monsters? Or was this human the true monster? Luo Xia floated in the dark water. Beneath the black-purple plating of his battlesuit, his voice drifted like a ripple. "Aren't you trying to kill me?" His aura pressed against them like a legend made flesh. Tens of thousands of sea beasts fled in a wild stampede, leaving only the island-sized corpse of the white shark and the lone human beside it. Luo Xia paused, breathed a quiet sigh, and used the arc blade disc to saw off the crimson horn from the shark's head. He stored the horn in his pocket space, then blurred like a streak of black-purple lightning and vanished from the region. He surfaced on an uninhabited island, pulled the black god suit from his head, and collapsed onto the white sand, gasping. The distance was ringed in dark clouds, rumbling with thunder and lightning, and wind whipped the sea into high waves. He breathed in the salt air, catching his breath. "If the Fear Soul imprint hadn't worked," he murmured, shaking his head. After his full-force strike, he'd been nearly spent. Had the surrounding king and lord-level monsters pressed their attack, he would only have been able to run, and might not have escaped. He had been lucky. When he split the Beast Emperor White Shark, he secretly triggered a Fear Soul imprint that magnified his accomplishment and shook the other beasts, courage-free, allowing him to leave. Luo Xia took a moment to recover fully, then rose and glanced toward the brewing storm. He transformed into a black-purple streak and flew toward the next sea region Babata had marked. There will be another chapter later. Chapter 116, Egg of the Golden Horned Beast, Yangzhou City, Mingyue Community. A black and purple figure suddenly fell from the sky and landed lightly in one of the villas. "Dad, Mom, Big Brother, I'm back." The black god suit slowly retracted into a wrist guard on his arm. Luo Xia called out with a smile. Gong Xinlan and Luo Hongguo had been watching TV in the living room. At the sound of their son's voice, they leapt up and rushed outside. When Gong Xinlan saw her youngest standing in the courtyard, smiling and whole, tears sprang to her eyes. She stepped forward. "You brat! Your brother came back ages ago. Why are you only coming back now?" Luo Xia reached out and wiped the corner of her eyes, grinning. "Didn't I come back?" Luo Hongguo quickly changed the subject. "The kid's back now. Hasn't eaten yet, has he? Go on, get him some food." "Where's my brother?" Luo Xia asked as they walked into the villa together. After killing the Beast Emperor level white shark and finishing his patrols of the marked sea areas, he'd come home. Your brother's in the gravity chamber, Luo Hongguo replied. He's cultivating. He said the gravity chamber's dangerous and not to go in unless we really have to. Luo Xia nodded. It is dangerous. I'll go find him later. The gravity in the gravity chamber could reach hundreds of times that of Earth. With their parents' physiques, they'd be crushed instantly. Mom'll make you some food now. You stay with your dad and watch TV for a while, Gong Xinlan said, tying on an apron as she went to the kitchen. I'll take a shower first and come down, Luo Xia said. After a warm shower and the meal his mother made, Luo Xia walked to the gravity chamber. Its door was sealed. A red button sat beside it. Normally, when the family wanted to get Luo Feng out, they pressed the button and Luo Feng would exit. Luo Xia pressed it. Who is it? Luo Feng's voice came through. It's me, Big Brother. Screech. The chamber door opened and Luo Feng stepped out in loose cultivation clothes. Luo Xia, you're back. If you hadn't come soon, Mom and Dad would have worried themselves sick. He sounded calm, because if he showed the worry he felt, his parents would only panic more. Luo Xia grinned. I had to go set up those monitoring devices. Enough of that. Luo Feng slapped his head. You little fool, actually provoking sea monsters. When Babata said you were surrounded by tens of thousands, I nearly rushed out to save you. Luo Xia ducked. I was wrong. You'll be wrong again next time, won't you? Luo Feng rolled his eyes. Babata spoke up. No. 9 started working the moment you set up the first monitor. 2 days ago, you did kill a Beast Emperor-level creature in the Western Pacific. That thing drew other sea beasts to swarm me, so I killed it, Luo Xia said. You still call that a reason? Luo Feng snorted. Babata continued. Your monitors are effective. They've detected several previously unknown Beast Emperors. Excluding the one you killed, there are 4 left. 2, Hong and Thunder God, have data. The 8-clawed Beast Emperor and the Thunder Dragon Emperor. The other 2 reside in the ocean's deeper parts. Beast Emperors were planetary-level monsters. Some were planetary level 6 or 7. The white shark Luo Xia's slain was about planetary level 4. From now on, Number 9 will continue monitoring all sea areas, Babata said. Since you're back, you and Luo Feng should cultivate together in the chamber. Okay. Luo Xia nodded, then asked Luo Feng, how many times Earth's gravity can you withstand now? 156 times, Luo Feng answered. All right, start me at 156 times, Luo Xia said. Luo Feng hesitated. Start at 100 if it's too much. Gravity crushes organs, be careful. Luo Xia smiled. I can handle it. He'd fought monsters thousands of meters deep. Deep-sea pressure hadn't fazed him. 156 grams was nothing. Tell me immediately if you feel bad, Luo Feng warned as he adjusted the chamber. The gravity dial rose. 1 grangs, 254 ings, 156 grang. Luo Xia felt the weight. His knees buckled, then slowly straightened as he took hold of it. Over the following days, the 2 brothers trained hard. Babata collected all the cosmic wreckage Luo Feng bought into her storage space and began using it to build a spaceship. One day, exhausted from cultivating, Luo Feng asked, How long will it take you to build the ship? 5 or 6 years, Babata replied. 5 or 6 years? You're the most advanced intelligence we know. Why so long? Luo Feng complained. Babata's starting from nothing, Luo Xia said, sipping water. She only has wreckage. Building a real interstellar ship from that in 5 or 6 years is impressive. Babata sniffed haughtily. Luo Xia's right. I'm building a spaceship that can travel the universe, not a model. I don't even have proper tools. 5 or 6 years is very fast. Luo Feng stopped protesting. Babata then asked, How many times Earth's gravity can you both withstand now? I haven't been paying attention while building the ship. 98 grams, Luo Xia answered. Babata nodded. Acceptable. A planetary level 1's body can inherently endure about 1,000 grams. You still need to train. This is only the passing mark. Time moved on. The year turned to 2057. Luo Xia and Luo Feng could now withstand 3,600 grams, and their realms had climbed as well. Luo Xia, mental power, planetary level 6, martial artist body, planetary level 4. Luo Feng, mental power, planetary level 2, martial artist body, planetary level 3. This year, Luo Feng finally broke his mental power to the planetary realm. Luo Xia's progress was more dramatic. The brilliant golden sphere in his sea of consciousness continued to boost him, keeping his mental power 2 levels above his physical body. He'd also mastered the 10,000 Swords soul imprint and had studied Hu Yanbo's soul imprint of servitude closely. Hu Yanbo's imprint was complex, but once one mastered the 10,000 Swords imprint, understanding the servitude imprint became easier. Luo Xia had larger ambitions. He wanted to improve the servitude imprint. Not only would slaves retain independent consciousness, but they would be able to channel a portion of their mental power and gene energy to their master during cultivation, like pets giving their owner some experience while leveling up. If slaves cultivated under his imprint, a fraction of their gains would flow to him. With enough slaves, he could grow strong without cultivating himself, merely reaping the energy they produced. Under his keen comprehension ability, that new servitude imprint was already taking shape. Late one night, far above Earth, space was dark and star-strewn. Something streaked through the void. A golden line of light shot toward Earth at near light speed, slicing through the ozone and plunging toward the Pacific like a meteor. Strangely, despite its velocity, the ocean's surface showed no unusual disturbance. Even stranger, every monitoring system on Earth, satellites, ancient relic sensors, even the monitor Babada had made, detected nothing. Thousands of meters below the surface, the golden light faded, leaving a black oval egg about 12 meters across lying on the soft seabed. The eggshell was black with strange golden patterns. Soon, a 7 or 8 meter sea creature, green-scaled, found the egg. It nudged and bit, expecting a meal. Its saw-like teeth shattered on contact. It thrashed, spat the egg out, and fled. The egg remained perfectly intact, the golden patterns unchanged, silently waiting. Back in Mingyue community, Luo Xia lay in bed with his right eyelid twitching and a restless mind. He couldn't sit still. Could the golden horned beast's egg have fallen to Earth already? He went to the gravity chamber. When it had been modified, Babada installed the main computer salvaged from ruin number 9. No 9, Luo Xia called. Colorful light condensed into a bald, crystalline man, the AI from ruin number 9. Master, what do you command? Has anything unusual appeared in the oceans? Luo Xia asked. The crystal man bowed its head, and after a long moment looked back at him. No abnormalities. Luo Xia frowned. Maybe he was imagining things. Okay, keep monitoring all sea regions. Notify me immediately if anything appears. Yes, Master. The crystal man dissolved into light and vanished. Since he couldn't sleep, Luo Xia decided to go check the sea himself. He left a message for Luo Feng, put on the black god suit, stepped on the arc blade disc, and flew toward the ocean. The next morning, Luo Feng frowned at the message and called. Hello, brother. Where are you now? Luo Feng asked. Over the sea, in the area that used to be called the Hawaii Islands, Luo Xia replied, bringing up a sea chart on his display. Why did you go so far out? Luo Feng asked. I just kept flying and ended up here, Luo Xia said. He'd wandered aimlessly at first and found himself in this region. I was getting cabin fever, had to move around. Luo Feng sighed. Be careful. Contact me if anything happens. I know. Luo Xia hung up and peered at the churning water. His eyelid had stopped twitching so much now that he was here. Could the egg be in this area? He extended his magnetic field and dove into the sea. The moment he hit the water, a fish-like monster lunged with a gaping maw. Its teeth were broken in places, likely from trying to bite something hard. Luo Xia killed it with a flick of the arc blade disc. The blade returned, circling him as he descended. He pushed his mental power outward and scanned the seabed, searching for the golden horned beast's egg. He passed many monsters, but found no sign, no special aura. Was he in the wrong sector? Then he caught something in the corner of his perception. Ahead, a coral mountain lay tangled with seaweed. In the blackness, it looked like debris, but one shadow held a different rhythm. He moved closer, and at the base of the coral, a giant egg lay half hidden by algae. The black shell bore those same golden patterns. Luo Xia's heart raced. The golden horned beast's egg, he could feel its vitality, a dense, thriving life force, the beast already forming inside. Seal soul imprint. Luo Xia condensed soul imprints and pressed them against the shell. The seal soul imprint was designed to bind consciousness, sending it into a stagnant sleep. As he laid the imprint, the golden patterns on the egg flared. A strange, powerful energy streamed from them and struck back, blocking the seal's soul imprint. Something else was present tonight, something powerful enough to repel his imprint. The golden patterns on the black giant egg flared, forming a mysterious force that reached out to block his soul imprint seal. Luo Xia could not allow that. He floated in the dark, cold depths. Mental energy in his sea of consciousness boiled over as the dazzling golden sphere and the tiny mental energy planet spun wildly, erupting with light. To Luo Xia, it looked as if golden flames had been kindled inside his eyes. "Suppress!" he commanded. He unleashed all 99 soul imprint seals, driving them at the black egg. The egg's golden patterns pulsed and breathed, and streaks of golden energy erupted to form a shield. The shield was uncanny. It defended against physical force and could even block mental power. Luo Xia's condensed soul imprint seals slammed into it. Ripples ran across the shield, but the seals could not break through. I knew it wouldn't be easy. He didn't panic. He dispersed the seals and considered his options. Of course, a golden horned beast's egg would have defenses until it hatched. If a mental attack won't do it, maybe a physical one will, he muttered, moving back a short distance. He took something from his storage, a sharp crimson shard, the Qi Hun Copper Mother. The gray domain spread around him, and he activated Divine Wind Step to 16 times speed. Boom! The seawater exploded as a sudden vacuum formed. Luo Xia vanished from his previous position. With his mental energy controlling the Qi Hun Copper Mother, he hurled the fragment like a slingshot of pure potential energy toward the egg's golden shield. All the kinetic buildup from the high-speed movement transferred into the copper shard. His mental energy amplified the attack 117-fold. Another 16-fold power burst layered on top. The Qi Hun Copper Mother became a razor-thin crimson thread, vaporizing seawater and distorting space along its path. With a sharp crack, it pierced the golden shield, and the shield shattered as if it had been glass. The egg convulsed. A primordial, terrifying life aura poured out, as though some ferocious ancient beast was awakening. Luo Xia didn't hesitate. He blinked beside the egg and instantly reformed 99 soul imprint seals, stamping them onto the shell. Chain-like marks spread across the black eggshell, crisscrossing and binding the life force and soul consciousness that had been stirred. Step by step, the tumult calmed until the egg was utterly still. He breathed, relief flooding him. A smile touched his lips. Qi Hun Copper Mother, still the best tool. Now that I've got the golden horned beast's egg, whether I enslave it or possess it, it'll be easy. He lifted the egg with both hands, but fumbled. The surface was slick. Glancing at a nearby coral outcrop, he willed parts of it to come loose and form a cradle. He set the black egg into the coral frame, then let his mental power levitate the whole arrangement toward the surface. With a wet pop, the frame broke the ocean's skin. The coral and egg streaked into the sky like twin meteors, heading back to Jiangnan Base City. "Big brother, are you home?" Luo Xia called into the communicator as they flew. "I'm in the gravity chamber," Luo Feng replied. "You coming back?" "Yes, I'll be there soon. I've got a surprise for you and Babada." Luo Xia glanced at the egg and chuckled. "What surprise?" Babada's voice chimed. "You'll see when you get home," he said. By the time they reached his villa, his parents were out for a walk. That saved him any awkward explanations. He carried the egg straight to the gravity chamber. "Open the door," he called. The chamber doors slid wide. Luo Feng stared when he saw the egg. "What is that? Some kind of egg?" He took one look and frowned. "You didn't go into the sea and steal a sea beast's egg, did you? Judging by its size, it must be at least an emperor-level sea beast." "Brother, have you turned off gravity?" Luo Xia asked. "Yes." "Good. Help me bring it in." They hefted the egg into the chamber and closed the door. Babada materialized, circling the egg with her eyes wide. "Is this the surprise?" she said, then suddenly her expression went frozen. Luo Feng watched her become deathly serious. "What is it, Babada? What's wrong with the egg?" "No, this can't be," she murmured, studying the golden patterns, "but its physical characteristics match my records perfectly." "What is it?" Luo Feng pressed. She flew to Luo Xia, almost breathless. "Luo Xia, how did you get a starry sky behemoth's egg?" "A starry sky behemoth?" Luo Xia feigned surprise. "Babada, you mean this is one of those?" "Yes." Babada was ecstatic. She returned to the egg and examined the golden markings closely. "And this isn't an ordinary starry sky behemoth. It's a golden horned beast egg, an extreme peak bloodline. Her eyes shone. If my database is correct, a fully mature golden horned beast reaches World Lord rank. It's even more terrifying than the blazing star behemoth, more brutal, more tyrannical. If it hatched here, nothing on Earth could stop it. It would be apocalyptic. Luo Xia explained calmly, I found it in the sea. It was enormous. When I first touched it, it had that golden shield. I used the Qihun Copper Mother to break that shield, then stamped it with soul imprint seals to suppress the life force and soul consciousness inside. Good work, Luo Xia. Babata clapped her hands, practically buzzing with excitement. This egg must have fallen to Earth only recently. Usually these eggs are impossible to find because the golden patterns conceal them from detection and activate a defensive shield if the egg is attacked. She turned serious and looked at both of them. A starry sky behemoth's egg is cosmically valuable. Even an undying-level powerhouse would kill for it. Wars would erupt across star domains. It might even draw beings beyond undying level to intervene. Luo Feng's face drained. Undying-level beings, legendary immortals who could regenerate from the smallest surviving trace, and beings even stronger. The implications were terrifying. Babata, explain clearly, Luo Feng asked. What exactly are we dealing with? Babata pushed up a pair of spectral spectacles she had conjured and began to lecture. Starry sky behemoths are among the most powerful life forms in the universe. Their bloodlines are categorized into tiers. The strongest bloodline reaches World Lord strength at maturity. They are rare and overwhelmingly powerful. The blazing star behemoth I told you about is one such peak bloodline. She patted the black egg reverently. This one is a golden horned beast. Not only peak, but famous and ferocious. If it reaches maturity, it will rank as a world lord. No one on Earth could stand against it. Thankfully, you sealed it, Luo Xia. In effect, you saved the planet. Luo Feng's immediate reaction was blunt. Then shouldn't we destroy it before it hatches? Babata stared at him as if he'd suggested burning the sun. No. Do you know how precious this egg is? Even an Undying would trade everything they own for it. It's dangerous, Luo Feng stammered. Yes, it's dangerous. But it's an opportunity, Babata interrupted. An opportunity you can't get again in billions of years. She turned her gaze to Luo Feng, her voice urgent. You humans have terrible physical aptitude. It's almost impossible for you to reach World Lord, let alone Undying. If you want any real shot at climbing to the top of the cosmos, you need a better bloodline. Possessing a starry sky behemoth is the clearest shortcut. Possess this golden horned beast, and your path forward becomes smooth. You could become one of the most powerful beings in the universe. Luo Feng stared. Possess it? Luo Xia said nothing. He had no intention of giving up his humanity. He'd grown used to being human, and with his comprehension and soul aptitude, he believed he could surpass even the master in time. Babata looked at him with disappointment. You still won't give up your human body? The soul is what matters, she said, exasperated. This is a once-in-a-cosmic lifetime chance. Possessing the golden horned beast could let you surpass your master and command countless races. She turned back to Luo Feng, pouring on the persuasion. Luo Feng, Luo Xia has the talent to go far, but the gap between you two is huge. Without something extraordinary, that gap is nearly impossible to bridge. If you truly want to contend with the geniuses of the universe, possession is your best option. Luo Feng's brow furrowed. Do I have to possess it? Babata sighed theatrically. Are you really so unwilling to give up your human body? He hesitated. But if I possess it, what about Shu Xin? The name fell from his lips like a stone. His love for Shu Xin was the core of the problem. How could he keep his relationship if he became non-human? Babata's eyes softened. Ah, so that's the problem. She thought a moment, then produced a small silver pendant from storage and held it out like a necklace. Give this to Shu Xin. Luo Feng took it puzzled. What is it? Eternal love. Babata's voice was sincere. You might not know, but absent physical limits, a being's soul can last for 1,000 epochs. Some rare life forms are born with an eternal body. Their flesh never ages. Only when their soul finally dies do they perish. Inside this pendant is a genetic extract from an eternal body. It can transform Shu Xin's physiology so she becomes an eternal body. Luo Feng stared at the pendant. An eternal body? It grants a lifespan measured in 1,000 epochs, essentially an undying body. Only the soul's end can truly kill it. But there's a price. Those with an eternal body cannot cultivate. The universe is fair. Long life costs the ability to grow in power. Babata looked at Luo Feng and continued, "My plan is simple. Give Shu Xin this eternal love pendant so she can live a very long life. Then you possess the golden horned beast. There are legendary techniques in the universe that can create clones. Once you find such a technique, you could produce a human clone and be with Shu Xin again." Luo Xia nodded at that. It was a reasonable compromise, and he knew, though he kept it to himself, that the golden horned beast's own abilities included the power to create clones. If Luo Feng possessed the beast, he could directly nurture a human clone with that ability. He stayed silent, unwilling to reveal how he knew. Luo Feng turned the pendant over in his hands, conflicted. He didn't answer right away. "Let me think," he said finally, and left the gravity chamber to ponder. Luo Xia watched him go, saying only, "Let him decide for himself." He looked down at the black egg and then at Babata. If he won't possess it, enslaving it might be the next best option. Babata considered that. "You could enslave it, yes, but if the starry sky behemoths ever learn what you've done, they'll make enemies of you across the universe and hunt you down." Luo Xia's expression didn't change. "We'll cross that bridge if we have to. Of course, it would be best if my brother possessed it." Babata's eyes glittered at the thought. She believed the chance was too great to ignore. Luo Xia, however, already knew the truth. Whether by possession or by enslavement, taking the golden horned beast's power would invite the wrath of its kin. A heaven-sent opportunity stood before them. Could they honestly let it slip away? Chapter 118, Possession of the Golden Horned Beast. After leaving home, Luo Feng found himself heading, almost by instinct, to Jiangnan University. Shu Xin and the others were still in class. He didn't want to disturb her, so he walked alone along the outdoor track, lost in thought. Inside the classroom, Professor Li's management lecture went on. Shu Xin took notes attentively when Liu Ting nudged her and whispered, "Hey, Shu Xin!" Shu Xin asked quietly. Liu Ting nodded toward the window. "Your boyfriend's here. I saw him on the track." Shu Xin followed her finger and squinted. Sure enough, a familiar figure paced slowly around the track, frowning and seeming deep in thought. Surprised, Shu Xin stood. Professor Li looked up over his glasses. "Student Shu Xin, do you have a question?" "My stomach feels a bit uncomfortable," Shu Xin stammered. "May I be excused?" "All right, go on," Professor Li said, and she left. As Shu Xin departed, Liu Ting mouthed, "Good luck," and squeezed her fist. She didn't need luck. Shu Xin's mind was entirely on Luo Feng. She hurried across the campus and found him walking beneath trees, half hidden in sunlight and shadow. He looked troubled, brows drawn together. "Luo Feng," she panted, catching her breath as she stopped in front of him. He turned. Relief and a complicated tenderness flashed across his face. "Walk with me," he said. They strolled slowly through the peaceful campus. The breeze sifted sunlight through the leaves, and for a while the world felt ordinary and safe. "It's really wonderful," Luo Feng said softly, "to be able to walk like this, quietly." Shu Xin smiled and took his hand. "Because of you and the other martial artists who fought those monsters, we can sit in class and live like this. We should be grateful to you." She pulled him down to a stone bench and sat close. Luo Feng wrapped an arm around her. She felt the steady rise and fall of his breathing. Eventually he spoke, quieter than before. "Shu Xin, she murmured. "Will you always be here?" His voice trembled just enough that she noticed. She looked up at him and, without hesitation, leaned into him. "Of course. I'll wait as long as you're alive. Even if I grow old, even if I'm about to die, I'll still wait." The determination in her voice made something clench in him. He took a small silver pendant from his pocket and pressed it into her hand. "This is for you." She read the tiny inscription, "Eternal Love." Her cheeks flushed. He fastened the pendant around her neck. "Keep it on, no matter what," he said. "It can protect you." She laughed softly. "Even in the shower? It's made of special material," he said. "You can leave it on." She nodded and rested her head against his chest, contentment and a little fear mingling in her expression. "If one day I have to leave," he thought before he could say more. She kissed him. The kiss was gentle and fierce at once, and when they broke apart, Shu Xin whispered, I almost couldn't breathe. Luo Feng smiled, but it wasn't a simple smile. It carried weight. He had made a decision. In the gravity chamber, Luo Xia sat cross-legged on a cushion. His consciousness had entered the virtual space Babata had created. He was studying soul imprints, preparing the servitude imprint he'd envisioned. Babata sat nearby, restless. She'd sensed something the moment Luo Feng returned. That golden-horned beast egg is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, she said, voice sharp. So many would kill for it, and you two hesitate? If Luo Feng refuses, we'll just enslave the beast ourselves. Luo Xia closed his soul imprint notebook and walked out of the virtual space with her. Babata waved a hand. Your brother is back. What has he decided? The golden patterns on the eggshell are repairing themselves. This seal soul imprint can't hold forever. When Luo Xia had broken the golden patterns earlier, they had not vanished. They were mending slowly. When they finished, the seal would fail and the beast would hatch. Even worse, keeping the egg sealed indefinitely would cause the beast to develop resistance against the seal. The imprint would weaken through repeated use and eventually be ineffective. And if the egg were prevented from hatching too long, the embryo could suffocate and die within, becoming stillborn. The window for a clean possession would close. Luo Feng, standing beside the giant black egg, met Babata's gaze with steady eyes. I'll possess it, he said. Babata blinked in surprise. Are you sure? Yes. Luo Feng's voice was quiet but resolute. I can't stay behind anymore. If a greater danger comes and we don't have the strength to protect Mom, Dad, Shu Xin, and everyone on Earth, I'll regret it for the rest of my life. Possessing the golden horned beast is the way I can get strong enough. Babata's expression shifted from irritation to something like excitement. Very well, prepare for possession. Luo Feng turned to his younger brother. Xiao Xia, if I'm gone for a while, take care of Mom, Dad, and Ahua. Luo Xia frowned, worried. You make it sound as if it's a farewell. You're not dying, you're possessing. The ancients say such things can bring unexpected surprises. Still, Luo Feng said, I want you to be ready. Babata instructed them on the procedure. Raise your mental power to its peak state. When you're ready, begin the possession secret technique. Luo Xia and I will guard against any disturbance. Luo Xia, since you've already used the seal soul imprint on the egg to quiet the beast's consciousness, the process should be comparatively straightforward, but only Luo Feng can perform the possession. No one else can help. Luo Feng settled in front of the black egg and centered himself, pouring his mental power outward. Babata nodded. No one is to interrupt. If anyone comes, deal with them. No problem, Luo Xia said. Time stretched thinly. When Babata judged him ready, Luo Feng closed his eyes and let his mental power seep into the egg. Inside the egg, his senses probed the infant life form. It looked like a scaled, winged lion with golden horns, a terrifying, majestic creature. It was bound and dormant. Luo Feng's mental probe went to its head and found nothing. Why isn't the sea of consciousness in its head? He thought, surprised. Then he explored lower, tracing along the infant's body until he found a walnut-sized crystal sphere gleaming golden beneath the beast's chest. Intricate golden runes scrolled across its surface, complex and humming with power. The beast's soul was inside that sphere. Luo Feng attempted to break the sphere's defenses with mental power, but the crystal's protections were astonishing. His mental power, condensed to a needle, could not pierce it. Worse, as he tried, the infant struggled against the seal. The eggshell trembled. Babata's face darkened. The infant is pushing against the seal, she warned. If it breaks free before you finish, possession will be much harder and much more dangerous. Can I help? Luo Xia asked. No, Babata said. Possession must be done by the one who will inhabit the beast. Outsiders can't interfere. Luo Feng felt a tremor of doubt, just for a second. It passed. He thought of Shu Xin, of his parents, of Luo Xia. He couldn't turn back now. If normal mental power couldn't breach the crystal, he would use something stronger. From the ruins on Yunmo planet, he had learned a secret technique, Soul Blade Slash. It was a brutal, condensed manifestation of mental power. He summoned it now. His mental power sharpened into a blade of shimmering light. Go, he told himself. He slashed. The blade met the crystal and sang. For a moment the sphere held then, with a creaking noise in his mind, a crack opened. The defense fractured. The egg trembled, and the infant's soul quivered, exposed. Luo Feng pushed his mental power into the gap and let his soul slip past his body like a shadow. He thrust his consciousness into the crystal, and as Babata watched tensely, he executed the final movement of the secret technique, possession. He swallowed the infant's soul. Outside the egg, Luo Feng's body went limp. Luo Xia rushed forward and caught him before he collapsed. He looked to Babata, voice urgent. Did he succeed? Did it work? Babata's eyes flicked to the egg and to the readings that scrolled across her mind. Possession is a process, she said slowly. It seems likely it succeeded, but we can't be certain until the egg hatches. Only then will we know if the original soul was replaced. If the possession had failed, then when the egg hatched, the true golden horned beast would be born. They couldn't leave the egg where it was. It had to be moved somewhere safe and isolated. Babata pulled up a map and pointed. Fog Island, she said. There's already an overlord beast there, but the island is covered in thick mist. No one will find the hatchling there. Luo Xia agreed. They needed to move immediately. He placed Luo Feng's body into his spatial storage and loaded the black egg into the fighter jet. The intelligent jet sprinted through the sky. In less than an hour, they reached the fog-shrouded region. Beneath them, Lake Zhe lay wrapped in mist. Luo Xia guided the jet down and landed on the small island at the lake's center. The monsters that lived in the lake felt his qi and sank back into the depths, wary of the intruder. Luo Xia set the egg carefully on the island's ground, covered it lightly, and prepared to wait. He watched his brother's inert form in storage and the black egg beside him. No matter what happened when the shell cracked, there was no turning back. The choice had been made, and now it would be tested by the only thing that could prove it, the hatching. Fog wrapped the island like a veil. In that quiet, Babata's voice came, calm and strange. Now we wait. Chapter 119, The Secret Technique of the Golden Horned Behemoth. 1 day, 2 days, 3. By the 5th day, the giant black egg still showed no change. Luo Xia grew restless. He stared at the motionless shell and could not shake a gnawing worry. What if Big Brother had failed to possess the beast and died? How would he explain that to the family? To Senior Su Xin? Anxiety frayed his temper. That afternoon, he hesitated before answering a call from Su Xin. Hello, Senior? Is that Xiao Xia? It's me. Is something wrong? I haven't been able to reach your big brother. Is he with you? Luo Xia glanced at the egg and answered, No, he's not here. He went on a mission. I can't reach him either. Do you know when he'll be back? Shu Xin asked. Luo Xia thought for a moment. He said before he left he'd be back in at most 2 to 3 years, maybe as early as a year, he said. Shu Xin went quiet, clutching the medical report in her hand. It could take that long. Luo Xia felt guilty. He hadn't made the timeline up. It came from the original story. The Golden Horned Behemoth's clone talent only becomes usable at astral rank or higher. The newly hatched Golden Horned Behemoth was currently only planetary level. It would take about a year to reach astral. Only then could Luo Feng use the beast's clone ability to form a human body. I understand, Luo Xia said. There was a pause on the line. Shu Xin then spoke softly. Xiao Xia, if you reach Big Brother, tell him I'm pregnant. The baby and I will wait for him. Luo Xia blinked, then looked at Babata and at the black egg, which seemed to tremble faintly. I'll tell him, sister-in-law. I can't believe I'm going to be an uncle. Shu Xin's voice brightened. That's enough for now. Wait, Luo Xia suddenly said. Since it's his child, why don't you move in with us? Mom and Dad can help take care of you. We'll talk about that in summer vacation, Shu Xin replied. I still have classes. It's only been less than 3 months. If I hadn't felt something off and gone to the hospital, I wouldn't have known. Luo Xia slapped his forehead. I wasn't thinking. Okay, I understand. They hung up. Luo Xia turned back to Babata, grinning. Babata, Big Brother's going to have a child. I'm going to be an uncle. Streams of data flickered in Babata's eyes. She had already accessed the hospital's database and seen Shu Xin's report. Folding her arms, she looked at the egg and smiled. Now we just have to wait for Luo Feng to break out of the shell. Luo Xia kept watching the shell. The egg stirred as if in response to him and Babata. A month slipped by. That day, Luo Xia sat studying the golden patterns on the eggshell when the egg began to tremble. The tremors grew, then sharp fissures cracked along the surface. Babata, is it about to hatch? He called. The egg vibrated violently. Crack, snap, then a long series of popping sounds as the shell split. A slimy, dark form pushed free. Luo Xia and Babata leaned forward as the newborn began ravenously tearing away at its shell, devouring the fragments as if starved. In less than 15 minutes, the beast had eaten roughly a third of the 12-meter diameter shell. The creature crawled out, gradually revealing itself. Black scales, massive limbs, a pair of scaled wings, a dragon-like tail flicking behind it, and a single black horn stabbing upward from a ferocious head. Mysterious golden patterns traced the horn and spread across its body like armor. Each time it ate shell, its bulk grew. When at last it had consumed the entire shell, its length reached 16 meters. The mucus dried, the golden patterns glowed and extended across its back, wings, and 4 claws until the beast's form was fully defined. At over 10 meters tall, it towered over Luo Xia. He called out, "Big brother?" "It's me," a familiar voice echoed in his mind. "Big brother!" Luo Xia's heart nearly burst with joy. He would have hugged him if he could. Now the beast's thigh was far too large to embrace. Babata shared his elation. This was a once-in-billions-of-years opening. Luo Feng had succeeded in possessing the golden-horned behemoth. "How do you feel?" Babata asked. Luo Feng flexed his limbs and wings. "A bit unfamiliar with this body, but otherwise fine." "Good," Babata said, smiling. "Because you possess the infant form inside the egg, your soul fused with the physical body while you were still developing. That allowed you to move freely right after hatching. If you'd possessed an already hatched adult, you might have needed a long time to adapt, maybe not even able to walk at first." Luo Feng nodded. He had fused completely and, in doing so, had received the beast's legacy memories, vast, ancient knowledge accumulated through generations. That was why he had taken longer to hatch. The legacy was enormous and required time to download. It had taken him over 10 days to absorb. "Knowledge is power," Babata said excitedly. "Some starry sky behemoth's legacy memories go back to the early universe. Tell me, what's in yours? Any secret techniques?" Luo Feng replied, "I've done a preliminary sort. In the Golden Horned Behemoth's cultivation legacy, there are 18 special secret techniques and 3,199 ordinary secret techniques." Babata whooped. "You hit the jackpot. Even my master never accumulated so much knowledge." Luo Feng's voice was calm. "The difficulty is choosing. These techniques are meant only for Golden Horned Behemoths. The legacy cautioned me not to overload. Learn at most 2 special techniques and no more than 6 ordinary ones. There are too many options, and I don't know which to pick." Babata stroked her chin. "Tell me the general effects and cultivation requirements for each, and I'll filter them. With my database and computation, I can find the optimal combination." So Luo Feng summarized the effects and conditions of all the techniques, while Luo Xia listened from the side, thinking that with adaptation, some of these ideas might inspire human techniques. After hours of explanation, Babata ran the calculations and said, "Also tell me about your innate techniques. I can factor those into the optimal build." Luo Feng went on. "Innate techniques need no learning. They're like instincts. The Golden Horned Behemoth had 3. Devour, which consumes metals to increase strength. Strengthen, which temporarily boosts speed, strength, and defense. And Clone, which at certain ranks allows gestating a second body. At planetary, astral, universe, and world lord ranks, the clone talent offers an opportunity to incubate a clone. The clone acts as a second body. So long as the original survives, it doesn't matter how many clones die. With Clone, I'll be able to go home and see Shuxin sooner," Luo Feng said, touched. He had feared he wouldn't return until he found a secret technique to make a clone. He never guessed the beast's innate talent included clone, and that he was at planetary level and could already gestate a clone. Babata queried, "Do you want to use your first clone slot to gestate an Earth human? You only need a strand of hair or some tissue. With such a powerful talent, you could choose a human with a strong bloodline, say someone from Manka Star. Possession is hard, but obtaining tissue isn't, or you could even have the clone surgically altered to look like Luo Feng." Luo Feng's answer was firm. "No. The first clone will be an Earth human, but it will be gestated from my own genetic material." Seeing his resolve, Babata did not push further. "All right. Based on my filtering, the best choices for you are the special technique Original Body World and the ordinary technique Absolute Space." Combined with your innate techniques, they'll be very powerful. Luo Feng reflected. The descriptions filled his mind. Original body world lets the body change size. Absolute space manipulates space law. Fully cultivated, it could allow teleportation. Xiao Xia couldn't help but ask, Big brother, can you teach me how to cultivate those? Luo Feng studied him. They're golden-horned behemoth techniques. Only beasts can cultivate them. I know, Luo Xia said, but old ancestors said understanding one law helps you understand others. Even if we humans can't cultivate them as written, they might inspire techniques we can use. Luo Feng considered. The cultivation content is vast and subtle. It's hard to describe in human terms. Babada, can I transmit those techniques to Luo Xia somehow? If your soul imprint skill matures, you could condense them into a legacy soul imprint like my master did and transmit it, Babada suggested. Luo Feng nodded. Then you'll have to wait. My soul imprint isn't deep enough yet. When I can form a legacy soul imprint, I'll send them to you. No rush, Luo Xia said, smiling. What I really want to learn is your innate clone technique, but of course that's probably impossible. Luo Feng's voice softened. There might be a way. Let me check the legacy memory. He lowered his head and went silent. Half an hour later, he spoke again. The innate techniques come from the golden secret patterns on the transparent crystal sphere at the core of my body. If you can comprehend those patterns, you might be able to learn the innate techniques. Let's try, Luo Xia said immediately, eyes bright. Luo Feng agreed. For the golden horn behemoth, that crystal core was its origin, its life's essence, and could not be revealed lightly. But for his younger brother, he made an exception. I'll open internal defenses. Probe gently with your mental power. Luo Xia sat cross-legged. Following Luo Feng's guidance, he extended his mental power and slipped into the beast's body. He found the transparent crystal sphere ringed with countless profound golden patterns, far more intricate than those on the eggshell. As he visualized them, his mind seemed to boil. Comprehension surged. The patterns revealed layers of meaning, and inspiration flooded him. He felt as if he were beginning to learn. Luo Feng withdrew, no longer watching. Whether Luo Xia could truly grasp any of the innate techniques depended entirely on Luo Xia's own comprehension. In truth, Luo Feng did not expect much. Innate techniques are born with a life form, like a breathing reflex. They are life's gift. From the legacy he had learned that across the universe, no one had ever replicated or comprehended another species' innate techniques. Strictly speaking, the only reliable way to acquire another being's innate techniques was through possession.